Welcome back to the Low Budget LCS, and with truly no further ado, we are really going to jump into it. You can tell that we're 7 minutes late. Listen, I'll take responsibility for that. My bad, folks. My name is LaChance, and tonight I am happy to be joined by Boss Kitty. What is up, boss?
How's it going? Happy to be here. Excited to see some good League of Legends.
Absolutely, and speaking of League of Legends, we are hopping right into draft, folks. This is Executive League, the highest skill ceiling that we have to offer here at the Low Budget LCS, and we're mainly talking just for the VOD right now because the ping hasn't even gone out to the Discord yet. But we've got Monkeys versus Big Dig Secret. Boss, walk me through. What do you think we're going to see here tonight?
I mean, the meta picks tend to be anything around some safe blind pickable champions, or maybe some that are generally some power picks in the meta revolve around ADC. In my experience, I'm expecting to see something like a Varus, maybe a Jinx, something like that. Lots of team comps nowadays kind of revolve around these essential picks. So no bans coming out on any AD carries, so we got free pick here for either team. I'll be excited to see what they end up going for.
Yeah, absolutely. The field is wide open. Now, we were talking a little bit beforehand. Hey, Papo, what's up? Papo agreeing with you, saying Jinx is so high priority in Executive right now. But it's a Renekton first pick. Is that typical? Did you expect that?
No, not at all. I mean, good safe blind pick for the top lane, but I will say generally you don't really want to first pick a top laner just because you don't want to give the enemy like a free counter pick. Oftentimes we'll probably see like a Gnar into that as a good matchup. Maybe even the Cassante, which can kind of neutralize it. I'm not sure what Big Dig Secret plays in the top lane, but Renekton first pick is definitely atypical.
Now, boss, play with me here for a minute. How big brain could we get? Is there any chance in heaven or hell, that Renekton is not going in the top lane and it's actually a secret support or mid or jungle pick?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I would love to see it personally. I'm an off-meta enthusiast. Seeing a Renekton, I think the most meta role would probably be mid lane if he's not top lane.
Sure.
But with this Galio picked up, they actually could do it. Melee mid laner, Renekton does AD against the Galio. That could be a good matchup. So I hope for their sake it's not. But I think it totally could be.
Yeah, listen, Kufla's talking about it. They say if they big brain into mid Renekton into Galio, it's possible. We'll see, folks. Who knows what the scientists in the monkey lab are going to be doing. Now, no Jinx picked up here. I just saw Papoa toss it out, so that's why I'm talking about it. They're going for the Tristana.
Yeah.
How's Tristana ranking in terms of strength these days?
Actually, a really good pick right now. One of the highest win rate jump AD carries we've seen. She's had a pretty good win rate increase over the last patch. I think the aggressive meta tends to suit her. Lots of fighting, lots of skirmishing, and I always think she was stronger in the bot lane, anyways. Personally, I don't know what this mid lane pick was about, but I always seen her as an AD carry first and foremost.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember a lot of good old days with Tristana. It's just a fun champ to play. Sammy 2Slap, I see, redeeming a caster compliment. Sammy, here's my compliment. You're a blast to have in the league, and no matter how hard Evdingus crusades to ban you in community, what I saw earlier, don't worry, buddy. You got some allies. We'll keep you in the league, at least until you fight Evdingus in single combat. Could be Zungle? What do we think? Oh, shucks, Goonie. What do we think Zungle is? Is that... Oh, Zyra Jungle.
Yep, that's a pretty common pick right now.
Okay.
I've seen it a lot.
Cool.
Generally, it's for the tempo. You have really fast clear speed. You have really good ganks, and of course, a really good source of that magic damage for it.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of plans, so she can walk through the jungle. I think narratively, it's a pretty good fit as well. And the Jinx ban, we're getting that right out of there. Not an option anymore.
Yeah, so Big Dig Secret probably will have to take their AD carry, probably on R4. They want to save that support counter pick. They did pick the Ornn, which means I assume that they think the Renekton is top lane. Ornn's a really good matchup into that. But also the Bel'Veth jungle is kind of crazy into Zyra, who's really good when people want to dive right on top of her.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something we're going to keep an eye on here. What do we think? What has yet to be counterpicked? What do you think is going to be final pick here for Big Dig? Any power champions that have been kept till this last second?
I imagine they have pretty good engage for their comp right now, so maybe an enchanter for the Varus might be good. Don't let him get dove on by the Renekton. Try to keep that attack speed up, maybe with something like a Lulu. Karma also probably be good to help the Galio or Belveth engage. I think all of those could kind of work well. Or if they want to double down, I could see a Leona.
Boss, tell me what's going on here. We've got a Twitch and a Tristana.
That's something really spicy. Maybe it is that Trist mid I was just complaining about. It might be the rat in the bot lane. Definitely an enchanter, I imagine, pick here, unless they're going something really crazy. But Twitch usually does well with those kind of enchanter buffs. So we'll see what they lock in for B5 here.
Swain! Who is where? What's going on?
I have no idea at this point. At this point, I think they might be running Twitch jungle. I'm lost.
Huh. Okay, we'll do some theory crafting in a second. Now, the question is also, what does Big Dig think they're doing here? Lux? All right.
Okay. Some very atypical drafts here from both teams. So I guess we'll see where everything kind of ends up. If I had to guess right now, I guess it is that Zyra jungle. I think it's the Tristana mid, and it's probably Twitch Swain bot lane. But for the other side, I think it's pretty standard where everyone's going. But some really interesting team comps off the bat here.
Absolutely, and I did not say this in the beginning, but I'll say it now. We also really promote gambling on this stream through our channel points, through our Schmeckles. Folks, the casino is going to be open soon. Predictions will be live in a hot second, and you will be able to put your Schmeckles where your mouth is and maybe earn yourself a fortune tonight. Which of these compositions is calling to you, boss?
I think if I'm going like standard meta, if I think who's gonna win, I take a look at that Orin Galio Belveth core. I think that's so strong for those skirmishes, lots of tank, lots of engage, and then the Lux Varus range really does well to balance out the comp. But if I want to go for fun, I'm looking over here at the monkeys, because I think that Twitch is going to do some good work. I think that Swain's a really good counter pick because of how short range Big Dig is. So I think it really could go either way.
Yeah, and we're going to get to see pretty quick what the Monkeys lineup is actually going to be. Also, got to give a really big shout out to Silly C's Pizza playing alongside Billy Cheese Pizza. I just want to say we see you, we respect you, we salute you.
Another friend.
Trombone Nation. Thank you so much for being the newest investor in the low budget LCS. You haven't spent any money here, but you spent your time. And in many ways, it's the most valuable resource that any of us have. Vader used choke, redeeming a caster compliment.
Another
Vader,
friend.
super fucking easy to compliment you. If you guys scroll up through the announcements channel right now, any poster you've been seeing has been made by Vader, who has been hopping on these with unreasonably short notice. There was even a little animatic in the last one. So, you know, we're leveling up, we're improving over time. And Lolzeth, thank you so much for being the newest investor in a low budget LCS. We appreciate the hell out of you. Okay, it is Renekton top lane, boss. It's not going in a crazy unique place, but Tristana mid, you called it.
It is in the mid lane. I think people normally picked it just because she does so well with that level scaling with her passive. If she gets more XP, it's really good. But personally, I think she just does so well with CC, like as a support. If you pick any engaged support, Tristana just like one-shots whoever's on the other side of that cannon.
Absolutely. Now, the one thing that I wasn't sure about, and also because I'm not 100% locked into the meta right now, was there any chance that Swain was going to be going mid, or was that always going to be a support pick for Big Dig?
It's definitely stronger in the mid lane right now. But I think they kind of already had locked in their mid pick before the second phase, so they kind of used it as a counter there. So it's definitely less common in support just because you get a lot less gold. But I think it can still be really strong if the game goes long enough.
Totally. Troisenberg, thank you so much for your sub. We appreciate the hell out of that. Troisenberg, of course, sounds like a fictional European city, and we love that. I hope to spend my summers in Troisenberg. They have beautiful mountains there. Okay, so we've talked about these compositions. We've wait a second. Did I have my brain on backwards? I had my brain on backwards. I'm sorry. I thought that Swain was on the team with Galio for some reason. This makes perfect sense.
Oh.
Please ignore my other question.
I mean, the Lux support's pretty atypical too. Those two could have been flipped. Just because, kind of the same reason as Swain, honestly. She does really well with items, and supports do not get a lot of those.
Yes, that is true. You would know that as someone who comes from the storied halls of being a support. Well, I mean, are
Yes.
these bot lanes screaming to you? Do either one of these? Which bot lane would you prefer to be in?
Oh, personally, the Varus Lux for sure. I think they hard outrange, outpoke in this lane, and in the bot lane, that's kind of the name of the game. If you want to win the early game, you got to have range. That's why Caitlyn's so prominent. She got the highest attack range of any AD carry. Same thing with Varus and Lux here. They both have really high range with their abilities and with their auto attacks. I think we're going to be looking for a lot of lane pressure from their side.
Excellent. Rucha has redeemed a caster compliment. Now, I just want to say, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. There are 4 A's in your name. I never really know how to pronounce every single letter of it. Listen, you've been a blast to have in the low-budget LCS. I've been seeing you all over the place. Just an excellent citizen of the Discord. Oh, I did say it correct? Yes! That never happens. But what I mostly want to thank you for is that you invented sourdough bread. Not a lot of people are talking about it. I don't know why, but just all sourdough bread, it comes from your invention, and I love sourdough on a turkey, lettuce, tomato, mayo sandwich. It's just absolutely the best. So without you, we'd have no sourdough bread, and that would be a worst world. So thank you so much for that. And thank you, little robot man, LeChance licks toes. Boss Kitty, I did not explain this to you either at all. By the way, this is Boss Kitty's first cast with us. So thank you so much for hopping on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. There's a guy in the league. His summoner name is someone you don't know. Are you familiar with the myth of Odysseus?
More or less.
Okay. At one point in time, oh wait, no, I guess he says no one. At one point in time, Odysseus is trapped in a cave with a Cyclops. The Cyclops kills his whole crew. Odysseus eventually blinds the Cyclops and tricks him into believing that his name is No One. So when the Cyclops goes out to the beach and he shouts to Poseidon, "No one blinded me," Poseidon is not able to kill Odysseus. Someone you don't know did something very similar to me, where he just started typing LeChance licks toes over and over and over again, and now people randomly say it. And now when I explain people that someone you don't know started this, I'm stuck in a very similar situation. So that's the whole long story of it. If you see that pop up time and time again, it's someone you don't know's fault. Again, the person whose summoner name is someone you don't know.
I see. Interesting tale. I do like the story of Odysseus. I haven't heard about it or read it in a while, but interesting tale, an interesting legacy there for this Discord user.
Yeah, listen, the Odyssey's a classic. Angel, it's not a cover-up. You know that's the truth. Ugh. All right, we are starting to get into this game. They're starting to load in right now. Oh, I'm going to have some slight technical problems. But while I have those technical problems, Boss, what do you think the overarching strategy from each of these comps is? Does anyone really need to index into the early game?
I think, honestly, both teams have their own avenues in the early game. I'm looking at this, like, Renekton and Zyra. They're kind of like an early game duo if they want to make some stuff happen. as well as the Twitch kind of wants to make some stuff happen early. But on the other side, if we're looking at the scaling of the Ornn with the free items, I think there's a lot of identity there. But then they threw this Bel'Veth in the mix. And Bel'Veth is always like taking raptors, invading, walking in your jungle, getting in your face. So I'll be expecting to see a lot of that, which is kind of contrary to what the rest of the team wants to do. So I think both teams kind of have an avenue both ways, depending on kind of who they play for.
Absolutely, and we are into this game. Holy shit, we've got level 1 action right away as Teddy Barrocks is going to get taken down. And boss, speaking of that Bel'Veth, first blood going over to them right now. How much trouble are they in?
Oh, I mean, that's a big advantage to give the Bel'Veth in the early game. An extra longsword if they want to reset here. But also, one good thing for the Twitch is that he didn't use either summoner spell. Something that is a good kind of maybe takeaway from this bad situation. But this Bel'Veth definitely will be snowballed now. And it does look like they're looking for the early game invade. Usually as Bel'Veth, you want to end up stealing a camp level 1 if you can. Usually it's those raptors. So we'll see what they go for here.
We might see a little bit of a clapback, though. It's going to be 3-on-4, but they are kind of far up. Some CC is going to land right now, but they're going to immediately engage onto that Zyra. Zyra's going to get taken down by Bullet. Billy Cheese Pizza's around here as well, but it looks like everyone's just going to give up the ghost and back away from this red buff.
Yeah, so opting not to do those raptors, but to go for the red buff. Like I said, they like to just steal a camp. So it seems like the Bel'Veth knew which one they wanted and got that. The whole team working together on that really well. I think that was incredibly well played. And honestly, props to them.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, Big Dig secret. You don't often see teams get a level 1 kill and then say, okay, we're going to stay in the exact same spot and we're actually going to push for more. Getting the kill is usually what you were there to do in the first place.
Absolutely. So very interesting strategy there. Like I said, this Bel'Veth is going to be very accelerated, especially once they get the first base in for the Big Dig secret jungler. There'll be usually or likely a very big item advantage for the side.
That Zyra's invading on the top side. The camera doesn't seem to care about it, but a good move from them to just try and get back into it.
Absolutely, and this top lane matchup is working out about as I predicted. Both of these are kind of just beefcakes that slap each other until they have low HP and then they recall. Renekton probably does have the lane advantage if he plays it right, but Ornn is really good at neutralizing it, so probably not a lot of action up there.
Yeah, unlikely. Where do you think we will see action? Where do you think the junglers are predicting the soft points of these lanes are going to be?
Ooh, to give you a real answer, I think it's wherever this Bel'Veth ends up.
Sure.
It's probably where a lot of the action is going to happen.
Bel'Veth is going to make the weak points.
I think so. With how proactively that Big Dig is playing, I think they really want to get this jungler ahead, and I think that they're working really well to do that so far.
Yes, they are. A little bit of skirmishing down here as the Murloc Mancer is going to get some damage onto Zhao by Teddy Barrocks. Just chaining these autos, but speak of the devil. Jojo Pier coming down. Very nice cleanse right away. They're actually going to commit to this, and they don't know the Bel'Veth is right behind them coming up, so they push forward. They take Bullet down, but now they're being chased by a terrifying giant moth creature who flashes onto the Swain. Who's going to get to safety? We're going to cut up to the top lane into a 1v1 Hordicus versus Caesar Sansa. They're going to get out. Teddy Barrocks trying to escape. The great escape, running for their life. They'll get one auto off, but there's no way that they get out of this one. There it is. Lots of actions. 4 kills in under 4 minutes. We are off to the races.
Wild. I love an action-filled game. That's exactly what we're getting here so far. The Twitch obviously had nowhere really to go off the back end of that play, but does pick up the kill. So gets a little bit of gold in his own pocket, taking down Bullet. In that good kind of commitment. I think if the Bel'Veth wasn't there, that was a really good fight for them, and I think they knew their limits really well on those champions. Unfortunately, I feel like they should have known that the jungler was coming around with how Bel'Veth was pathing, but they'd opt to go for it, commit the kill, and actually do get a trade, something that's really good. Also, Swain does survive, so kind of another silver lining there. However, the feat of warfare does go over to Big Dig.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, couldn't agree more. They saw an opportunity in the bot lane, and I don't blame Monkey for saying, okay, we lost first blood. We see an opportunity. Let's try and do something to even it up. But ultimately a 1-for-1, not the worst thing in the world. Now, this dragon is up for grabs. We're about to see probably the classic objective trade here. Belvath is kind of signaling, although both junglers on the same side of the map right now.
Yeah, Zyra does opt to go to top side, maybe trying to punish the Renekton, who's kind of on a bad wave state here. Or
Yeah.
punish the Ornn, my mistakes. my apologies.
No,
Punish
no,
the Ornn, who was trying to crash the wave. So they might actually just get the kill here. Yeah,
Whoa!
it does go over to Renekton.
Yes, it does. And down in the bottom lane, Murloc Mancer actually maybe ticking down. Bullet fights all the way through the Swain. Sees two low health characters. Not quite gonna go for it. God, that looks so tasty. Does Xiaodi have... Xiaodi does not have flash up. Although, they could probably maybe kill somebody with their W. Who knows? Great gank from the Zyra. Just kind of walks in the lane and they kind of unexpectedly get this kill on Ornn.
Yeah, so really well played on their side. The Ornn really had nowhere to go. I know I've been in that position top lane where I really want to crash the wave. I really want to get the wave in and get out of there. And I think that it did not work for the Ornn in this case. You got punished trying to crash that wave right before Grub spawned too.
Now, boss, I'm almost too scared to ask you this question, but is it paused on your end as well?
Yes, it is. It might have had an in-game pause during this time.
Maybe. Although the screen usually turns yellow. Well, I guess we're just kind of going to wait it out. In the meantime, Brent Omen44, thank you for being the newest investor in the low-budget LCS. Why you would choose to invest in us with such a clear technological breakdown, I don't know, but I appreciate your faith. We seriously need to get a producer. I don't think a producer would do anything about this right now. There's almost nothing to be done. Maybe somebody in the game will let us know if it's paused. Actually, let's just ask everybody. Is this a known problem? Or have there been spectator problems? We're polling the crowd at this point.
I know that I've had it when I was observing. The game kind of paused, and then later the yellow screen popped up. But it was an in-game pause, so I don't know if that's what's happening. That'd probably be my best guess.
Oh, Ruchi is saying when they pause the spectator client doesn't turn... Nowadays, when they pause the spectator client doesn't turn yellow. Okay, so it is a pause.
That's what it seems like then. That makes sense.
Where's our silver scrapes on repeat during technical problems? That's a pretty good bit, and honestly, not a bad idea. There have been spectator problems since 2011. You're right. You're just flat out right. Well, we're fucking stuck here. Dongwater has redeemed a caster compliment. Dongwater, where to even begin? Don't throw lemons at us. Don't throw lemons, Sammy. That's rude. Boss, have you ever been in a food fight before?
No, I have not.
Me either. There was a food fight 2 years before, when I went to high school. 2 years before I got there, there was a cafeteria-wide food fight that was just talked about by everybody who had ever been in it. But I personally have never been in one. I prefer to eat food rather than throw it.
Agreed.
Dongwater, your caster compliment. First of all, great name. I never think twice about saying it, and then once I'm saying it, I'm realizing what it is. Ruchia made sourdough. We know that you're responsible for rye. And you realize that there needed to be balance in the world. And that's a difficult thing. Thanos, right, saw balance as destroying. But you saw it as creating. And I think that speaks to your soul and your moral fortitude. So, thank you again for making rye bread. Just the whole thing, all versions of it, it's all because of you. Now, at what point do we do we think this is not an in-game pause, and this is just some sort of horrible problem?
I'm not sure. 'Cause like I think I said, I think it did look like this last time this happened to me. I know that like all the chats from the pause like came in all at the end. Like we couldn't really see any of them. So I think that might be what's happening. I don't know if it was a technical issue on either team's end, but hopefully the pause gets resolved here. If it is a technical problem, then I've never seen it before.
I've sent someone a message. Maybe we'll get some answers. In the meantime, Thulam has redeemed a caster compliment, which is crazy. I can't believe these 3 individuals in a row have requested caster compliments. Thulam, of course, you're trying to flex on everyone. Thulam, responsible for the baguette. Looked at sourdough, said, that's nice, that seems covered. Rye, that's okay. A little bit of a different taste, that's covered. We need bread that's hard. We need bread that's long. Enter the baguette. Nice crinkly crust on the outside. When it's been left out, and you know it gets too hard, it can be used as an improvised weapon. And Thulam really had people's safety in mind for that. So thank you, Thulam, for creating, again, all baguettes. That's you. Boss, what can we possibly glean from this game state?
I think it's honestly pretty even. The gold advantage is in the favor of Big Dig right now. Mostly on the Belveth and the Varus is kind of where we see that those key kills, that gold being placed. But they did get the kind of the kickback with that Ornn kill. So now this Renekton's a little bit accelerated. Does get a tower plate, does get the kill in his own pocket. So maybe we'll see a little bit of kickback there. But so far, I think that Big Dig already had the scaling advantage and now got a little bit ahead in the early game. So it might be kind of disaster depending on how these team fights play out.
Well, speaking of disaster, just got a response, and they are indeed playing. So I'm going to try and just rejoin because that was not working.
I'll try the same.
Okay. Let's spectate the game. Troisenberg, great insight. You're absolutely correct. All right, let's see if this works. This is the first honest-to-God technical difficulty we've had in quite some time.
Huh. I was totally expecting it to just be a pause, but I guess I stand corrected.
We're...
Oh,
baby, we're back. Oh, baby, we're back, and we're going right to the action. Okay, this is all going crazy. Galio being pushed off. Whoa, we're going to have a second to analyze everything, but after this fight, Galio is going to be chased down right now as the Renekton is going to cut through. That bomb's going to go off, and the shutdown goes to Tristana. Boss? Oh, wait. Murloc-Mancer on the wrong side of the map right now in enemy territory, but look at that blast cone, maybe bringing them to safety. Murloc-Mancer recognizing the opportunity, using the slow field, pops it at the last second for damage, still on the run. Renekton, oh, looking to cut them off. No, they wanted the blast cone so badly. Oh, is it enough? It's not. Murloc-Mancer ends up getting cut down. Boss, I know it's a really big question to ask, but what are we looking at right now? What do we think happened in the past couple minutes?
Lots of interesting stuff, that's for sure. I was just talking about how Big Dig had the gold lead, but we get back in here and now it's 2,000 over for Monkeys. So they did something that we didn't see in the last like 7 minutes that pulled them ahead in this game. We have a 3-0 Tristana. we had the 2-0 Renekton, so they clearly pushed their leads kind of away from the bot lane, where they were already losing a little bit, and I think they're playing really strong towards their mid and top lane right now, which I think is a really, really good strategy. Those are both 2 winning lanes. It's just kind of about whether or not they can mitigate it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Something has worked out. Now, big dig secret. They have 2 dragons, right? They've been stacking those objectives. Looks like grubs are even. Am I looking at the right thing? Yes, void grubs are even. We have no idea when those things went down. But they did, and already the next dragon is being pinged. So they want to keep stacking that. But yeah, 3K, let's toggle the gold. Ooh, hold on, Swain catching bullet right here. They're going to pop their ult, but in turn, they're going to get popped. All right, toggling gold, taking a peek. Yeah, mid lane really has gone Tristana's way. Another catch right here, as that's going to be Twitch being locked up by Murloc and Billy Cheese Pizza. Just taking out half of Galio's health right there. What a frantic way to get back into this game.
For itself.
You know,
Tristana's... Sorry, go ahead.
No, we were talking about Tristana. I mean, this great champion, can eat through towers, just so much damage coming out of it. Tristana's doing the Tristana thing.
Yes, she is. Those turrets melt like butter as soon as she gets around, especially when she gets some items. It's real easy to take those down, and Galio can't really do much about it unless Tristana does something really crazy under the turret. But I imagine playing it safe on the side of monkeys here.
Yeah, the interesting thing about coming back into this is we can see the KDAs, but we don't really know how people have been playing. So I'm sure some decisions are being made right now based off of just how the players have been conducting themselves in the Rift.
Yeah, and that Rift Herald actually does go over to Jojo Purk, so it does get that power. Oh, no time for that.
No, that's going to be an ult from Renekton. God, this is... top laners will bait you into talking about them and then immediately back off all the time, and just as soon as that, they'll go right back in. But Horticus, wow, getting a big pop right here. The Ornhorn's getting called. Renekton going to do everything they can. Look at that flash! Flashing over the ult and the flash away from Horticus! Everyone needs to burn every summoner spell to survive up there. Woof. Oh my god, that Lux damage.
Yeah, 1 item, and there you go. They do get the upgraded boots, so I don't know how they got each of them. But it does look like Big Dig got the feats of strength. They got those upgraded boots for themselves. So that is another kind of scaling advantage for their team. Also, like I was trying to mention before top lane went all crazy, Bel'Veth did get the Rift Herald, so she currently has that upgraded ultimate form. So maybe looking for a fight here around the dragon with that kind of empowered state. We'll see what they end up going for.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of dragons that BDS has would suggest that this is important to them, and it does look like we're seeing both sides start to conglomerate around this dragon. 11 seconds. I'll see who is going to get engaged on first. Nice use of that Swain ability just to do a little bit of scouting.
Yeah, it does reveal enemies, so good for getting vision.
They don't see... Okay, they are going to start it in earnest as BDS pulls the dragon out. Look at that. 2 people being caught by Lux there, who drops the ult as well. Galio walking to the front line, going to get a 3-man taunt right there. Horticus diving in as well, but the health bar starting to melt, honestly, on both sides, as Twitch is just layering through. Murloc and Jojo Purk have to flash away. Everybody is on the run as Tristana gets the resets. Jumping forward. No CC out of the Zyra just yet, but Billy Cheese Pizza probably looking to clean this up. Oh, although...
Yeah, not really anywhere for this Lux to run.
No, pretty dangerous. Take that Rose. Trying to predict. I get it. You gotta throw it out just to see. What a fight, though. Twitch did work there.
Yeah, like, it's insane. I guess this Twitch only needed 1 kill at the beginning of the game, and there's the items, there's the damage. Both of their ADCs are running lethal tempo on the Tristana and Twitch, so the DPS of this team is actually crazy. And we can see that in full force in that last team fight.
Yeah, for real. Now, it's important to note, Big Dig's secret, they did get the dragon. They are on Soul Point right now, so they lost the team fight, but they got the objective. Will they be in a position to actually grab Soul in the end? Maybe, maybe not, but either way, they've bought themselves plenty of time to scale if they feel like that's what they need.
Absolutely. I think there is going to be a lot of pressure on Monkeys to fight that next dragon, that Soul Point. But we might get a fight here already.
Yes, indeed. Zhao D in a little bit of trouble as Belvath and honestly everybody else collapses on them.
That's the Avengers teaming up on the poor Swain, just trying to get wards.
Yeah.
I know how that is as a support too.
Dude, yes.
I imagine they're going to drop the Rift Herald here. There it is. And I think that we will see them try to pressure at least 2 towers, if not more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just noticing now that all the towers are up for Monkey, so it's some standing gold for them, which will be helpful because it's about a 4K difference right now. Lux just dropping everything. I honestly, okay, my answer is I don't really know. I could see it swinging either way, but which team do you think is kind of set up better to win the 5v5 at this moment?
5v5, definitely Monkeys. I think that double AD carry, both of them getting their items already. Like, they both have the Yun Tall, they're both building that crit build. I think both of those are incredibly strong at just team fighting, raw damage in a 5v5. So if we're looking at those kind of just head-on, like, you know, smash all of them together in the river like we saw before, I think Monkeys totally take the cake. But if we're trying to get this more split, maybe Belveth dives in with a Galio R behind her, or we get a Lux like binding into ultimate. I think we could get some really good picks for the side of Big Dig.
Who? Oh my God, Lux has gone
Case in
fishing.
point.
Exactly. So many times just landing in a Billy Cheese Pizza. Just, oh my God, forcing the flash out of Galio. The rest of the team showing up to back them up as well. But yeah, I mean, a lot of what you were just talking about was immediately displayed in front of us. Now, let's acknowledge scaling here. When you look at these comps, does BDS completely outscale them? Do you think it's going to end up pretty even if we sort of just applied infinity to this game?
For Infinity, I'm really looking at this top lane because I think that's the biggest scaling difference. Renekton scales really well until like 25 minutes. Once he gets like 3 items, and once other people get 3 items, he tends to fall off really hard.
Sure.
Ornn, however, gets all of his items, gets stronger, and gives his teammates items too. So I think in a very, very long match here, assuming it goes crazy long, I think it will go to BDS, the scaling advantage at least. But with how these team fights are going, I don't think that Monkeys wants it to go to the late game.
No, not at all. They are putting their foot on the gas as best they can. And, you know, sure, BDS can concede these dragons, but I think Monkey's gonna kind of know where to find them every 4 minutes if they do want that fight.
Yeah. Currently the Tristana is on the top side, but she does have that teleport. So,
Another catch here from the Lux. Murloc-Mancer just doing so much. They're gonna flash for it, and it's worth it. 17 seconds until Soul is up. That'll all but guarantee them that objective.
yeah, what a good pick. And honestly, Murloc-Mancer has been incredible at finding those burst trades right before objectives. And I think a little bit more item damage, and those will be pure one-shots.
Yes.
And if they keep getting those, these objective fights are actually unplayable for Monkeys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, once this dragon goes down, I will say that Billy Cheese Pizza just ate through that tower pretty quick. You gotta keep an eye out for this splitting Tristana.
I mean, even 3 grubs is completely deadly when it comes to doing that much tower damage like a Tristana can.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of deadly, we might have something on our hands right here, as that's going to be Galio ulting onto the Belvath, who's going to keep diving and taking out the Twitch right there. Next up, Zhao D, Murloc-Mancer. Murloc-Mancer doesn't need to be stunned up to hit an ult. They're just a magnet right now. It's incredible. They're working really well together.
They are, and that's what I was talking about earlier. If we get the Belveth dive into the Galio ulti with the Ornn ulti as well, they have so much CC and they can kill so quickly too.
God, it is objective central here. Just chaining objective after objective after objective. Murloc-Mancer denying vision, forcing them to have to walk into a very dangerous area right around the corner. Once again, Murloc-Mancer going to nail one, and that's going to be the Verisalt connecting onto the Renekton as well. Renekton taking a whole lot of damage, gets a little bit of a shield. It's actually going to find a kill as Varus is going to be the one that gets taken down, as the Otacon is really contributing to this fight. They're going to drop the ult, take the Otacon out right here, and it's kind of all of these roses up for grab. Horticus diving in right here, putting Zyra into a little bit of trouble. Billy Cheese Pizza flashing over. Wait a second. They get the reset. They jump away. Tristana looking to have a real Tristana moment as Zyra walks up here. Hammer and anvil moment as Horticus is going to dive in, knock up the Zyra, but will eventually be taken out by those plants. And even though BDS takes Otacon out, it looks like most of the roses are going to be picked up by those monkeys.
Yeah, honestly, really well played. I mean, if we don't get another kill here. Oh,
whoa! Really going for it. The flash, the CC, but the damage is not there just yet.
Yeah, even though this is Galio building armor, it is still a Galio, and he is incredible against those magic damage champions. But going back to that Otacon fight, so well played from the side of Monkeys. I think they knew, even though it was a 3v5, Otacon shreds those resistances so much. Their damage is essentially amplified as soon as they're fighting around that objective. So really well played, and like you said, even though BDS got that Otacon kill, a lot of the roses ended up going towards the side of Monkeys, and they get a lot of that XP, a lot of that adaptive force, and I don't even want to know what this team looks like if they're going to deal more damage.
Yeah, it's gonna get pretty messy. Got 15 to 15. Gold is pretty tight too. Both of these teams really just reacting well to every opportunity. This feels like a really even game. I'm excited to see its crescendo. Oh my God! Boss, you talked about the one-shots, and here they are. Murloc-Mancer is online. Wait, we got a taunt right here. Billy Cheese Pizza maybe in a little bit of trouble. Praetor. There we go, drawn out the ult. Well played by Billy Cheese. There was a lot of panic that could have happened in that moment, but they got out of that situation pretty well. But now Baron is up for grabs, and they're just going to turn to it.
Yeah, with the pressure of the Swain dying from that Lux one-shot there, like I said, one more item. All she needed with that Storm Surge. And then there it is, the one-shot. But now they're going to drop pressure on the Baron.
Yeah, they don't want to let this go quietly into the night as Renekton does dive in, but then has to dash out, and Lux ult is already backed up. But look at this, Zyra fighting in that choke point. Renekton now, they're looking quite low. They're actually trying to finish it. Who's actually going to get it? It's going to be the red team that gets it. Horticus is going to go down, and the back and forth, the pendulum never stops swinging in this game, as now Monkeys pick up the Baron. They get the whole ace right there, and boss, do they end the game right here?
I mean, 3 grubs, they have 280 carries, 2 mages. These are both like classes that are really good at taking towers. They might go for it, but they only have about 10 seconds until Bullet's back on the map. So I imagine they'll just go for the inhib unless they really want to try something spicy.
Yeah, who can say? Looks like they're going for it. Dropping the ult right there.
End.
They've got the Tristana. They might be able to do it. Bullet showed up, but they need to commit everything. There goes Swain taken down right now. But the CC, the Nexus, down to half health. Can they stop it? They do! A save in the last second.
Brilliant save. That Galio taunt was really key. With 280 carries, if they're hitting your Nexus, that thing is dying so fast. But instead, Galio says, nope, you gotta hit me. You're not taking down my base. Not yet.
Totally worth the push, though. They got really, really close. Of course, these days, Nexus turrets will come back, so it's not that bad. But what is a little bit risky is that in a minute and 10 seconds, Elder is coming onto the map, and that's going to be trouble.
Absolutely. I mean, whichever team gets Elder, you know, they call it the Great Equalizer. Whichever team gets it, especially in this game where the fights are so close, I think whoever gets it will just steamroll. And whether or not that's Monkeys with their already turret advantage, or whether or not that is BDS, I think whoever gets this Elder will probably come out with the win here.
Yeah, these team fights have been all about angles. I don't think the question anymore is like, can either side win a team fight? The answer is yes. both of these sides can absolutely win a team fight. It's about who gets picked, how that team fight starts, but certainly not a question of damage anymore.
Absolutely, totally.
Oh my
agree.
God, wait, there's a catch. Do we get the
here.
one shot? No, Billy walks away.
Insane, and that's something that they have to be so afraid of walking into this jungle. They know they already have wards down. They know that they can get one shot, and this Lux R has 0 cooldown. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Already more than halfway done. Okay. Elder on the map. Teleport coming through. Tristana wants to waste no time getting in range to fight. And we might be seeing a pitched battle here. I don't think there are any questions about what these teams need to do. Just
I
about.
think what we should really look at here is those 2 AD carries that I keep mentioning.
Yes.
'Cause I know in that last Baron fight where monkeys were able to take the win, they were basically just free firing.
Wait, there's a flash, maybe a catch onto the Belvath. Bomb goes on. Very nice blast cone out the Varus ult to buy a little bit of space. Now, Monkey is going to pull back. They've got the inside track onto Elder, but neither team can let this go. Praetor frontlining, walking up. Jojo on the other side, actually going to be engaged on by Billy. I believe there's a little bit of flash there to get them out. That's going to be the bomb popping, but Belvath lives. Elder, a part of this fight, close to half health. Everyone's kind of getting pushed off and around this objective. BDS really wants this to reset if possible. Zhao Dai on the backside. Belvath looking to maybe back right here, but maybe they can get a pick. Are they going to finish that back? No, they're not. They're going to go in for it. They're going to try and get some healing off. There's the taunt. They're going to get the kill. Bullet's going to be on a killing spree. Billy Cheese Pizza on the side. That Galio ult being canceled. Ornhorn being called to a knockup onto the Tristan in the backline. On the other backline, Praetor ticking down as the poison is going to do its dastardly work. A double kill there, and all that's left is Hordicus and an open Nexus. Boss, I think this might be it.
Yeah, I think that's just the end of the game. Very well played by both teams in that last team fight. Maybe Ornn comes out with a clutch save here, but it's looking pretty doomed for BDS.
Yeah, absolutely. They trade one person, completely understandable, but they are just going to take the Nexus out. That's a fun little graphical bug that we see the turrets there, and boom! There it is. Game 1 going to Monkey.
Yeah, I mean, insanely impressive from both teams, honestly. I was just kind of shocked that BDS got that Dragon Soul and still lost the game. Like, I think the win rates on that thing are crazy. If you get Soul, you're more than likely going to win, but they were able to play around it. The Monkeys played around it very well. They were able to team fight, they knew their strengths, and they stuck to them, and that really paid off in this game 1.
Absolutely it did. Super interested to see. Let's see here. We're just gonna get a brief little look at this. These damage charts right here. Lux topping the damage charts. Tristana not too far behind. But boss, I couldn't agree more. That was an even game.
Absolutely. I mean, both teams had very clear advantages, and they played them very well. I think it was really, honestly, like, it was such a close match, such a coin flip in a lot of ways, just based on who was able to find their fight and how these teams really wanted to play them.
Yeah, absolutely. And, yeah, I mean, usually when you're stacking dragons like that, I mean, it really is more likely that it's gonna, the coin is gonna end up on your side, but Monkeys just kept a cool head and like kept looking for opportunities, and they didn't let the Renekton get outscaled.
Yeah, the Renekton was very valuable in a lot of those fights. I think it was just a matter of him getting right onto those backline carries for BDS. And that's really where he does have value. So I was looking maybe for more of a peel Ornn, but it seemed like they wanted to use the Ornhorn to engage, to go win, to catch. And I think that might have been a little bit of a misplay in hindsight. This Renekton was kind of running over the team fights, got right onto the Belvath so many times, and Renekton does nothing if not damage.
Yes. Yes, very true. All right, choosing the outcome here. Your channel points will arrive in a moment. Okay, Monkeys won that game. I'm just saying that out loud because I want to make sure I'm not crazy here. All right, predictions.
Yes, indeed.
Have been completed. All right, boss. So, oh wait, really quickly, Loki has redeemed a caster compliment. Easiest one of the night. Loki, it has been so much fun casting with you. And we'll do a little bit of a plug here. Thursday night, I have it on good authority that Papoa and Loki will be casting, which is a duo that I specifically asked for. I'm super, super excited to see those two cast together. Might be the biggest brain, the smartest people casting together possible. Of course, I bring down the average whenever I'm part of a cast, so you know I've really kind of been tanking our metrics. But so Thursday, you can check out Loki and Papoa casting here for some excellent League of Legends. Speaking of, we've already got the draft going for Game 2 here, it looks like. Or at least the link.
Yeah, at least they have the link set up at least. Hopefully we get right into it. I want to see some more action. I don't know about you, but it was so exciting to watch that game, at least the parts we got to see. But
yes,
I'm hoping that we have less technical difficulties for Game 2 and maybe even Game 3 here. I think that BDS definitely has a chance to pull it back.
Oh, this could totally go to a Game 3. And yeah, we had kind of an interesting... the evolution of that game for us was a little bit insane, jumping from the 6th minute to the 14th minute and finding ourselves in the middle of a absolute barn burner. I mean, the action was constant.
Absolutely. And I actually might have to just be right back here in
Yeah,
a second.
absolutely.
So I'll leave you to it, but I'll be back as soon as I can.
Perfect. Loki, you're saying the Lux play was fun for you to watch. I mean, listen, another support-minded individual. Anything in particular that jumped out to you? Also, Papo, who's the other streamer as well? Will you both be casting and then another person will be streaming? Are we that high-tech these days? And I actually don't think I have too much to change on the back end. I love it when people stay on the same sides. Makes my life just a little bit easier. Although I will still have to move one thing around.
Alrighty, I have returned. I had to make sure my oven wasn't still on.
That is crucial. That is extremely crucial to make sure that your oven is not on. And you're back just in time because draft has started.
Yeah, we're seeing the same ban here off the bat with the Mundo. I actually don't have the same link from last time. I don't know if the rest of the bans are the same.
Let me...
But I remember that one.
I actually don't think I have it either. I thought I did, but I don't.
Well, it seems to be the same bans from an eye test. I remember the Shaco, I remember the Shen, I remember the Karma. So I think both teams kind of sticking with that same level ground from game 1. And we got Renekton first pick again here for the Monkeys. So they already know what they want. They already know that it worked in game 1. They want to see it again. They choose the Croc for the top lane. And it looks like Big Dig Secret is hovering the Ornn. They do lock it in. They like that matchup too. So far, identical to game 1 in the top lane. But as I say that, BDS do lock in the Ahri, switching up that mid lane already in game 2 here. So we will see, instead of a Galio, we will see an Ahri on the side of BDS for game 2.
Yeah, what do you think that's going to add or take away from their composition? How do you like this adjustment?
I think it works pretty much the same for their playstyle, actually. If they have another aggressive jungler like the Bel'Veth, the Ahri does really well with those, because she can dive in, she can dash in, she can look for those picks, and I think that's a lot of their playstyle when it comes to BDS. So I think this Ahri kind of fits the bill perfectly.
The Sivir.
Yeah, already focusing on Shurima comp over there for the monkeys.
Yes, of course.
They have the Croc, they have the Sivir. If we see an Azir, then I'll be really impressed.
Make my day, please. Dude,
Oh,
wait, what the fuck?
I guess I can see into the future. I didn't know I had that power, but
Boss,
here we are.
Boss, quickly pick the other two champions.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who they're locking in besides that. Maybe an AD carry match. We could see the Varus again. Oh, they decide to lock jungle. All right. It's basically the same. Vi starts with a V, Varus starts with a V, you know.
It's close enough. It's close enough.
Yeah.
Okay, is Azir strong right now? Is this isn't like too crazy?
No, I mean he's basically always strong. He's one of those pro jailed champions, like they call him. You know, way too strong for solo queue because the pro players make him look crazy. So he's always been kind of one that's weak in solo queue, but really good in these competitive, coordinated, like high skill environments. So I don't know how specifically good. What would that be for? That would be for Billy Cheese Pizza. I don't know how good that they are specifically on the Azir, but definitely a power pick. Lots of damage. That ulti absolutely changes games. So we'll be excited to see what plays they can make.
Now Loki has pointed out that we could have a Nasus and Talia for a Shurima comp or a Shrimp comp. I like that autocorrect.
Absolutely. I think that the Talia probably could go in the jungle, and then
Sure.
maybe we have a Nasus support. Is that? I don't know if that's what they're suggesting.
Yeah.
I've seen that, believe it or not.
And
so
how
not
did that
impossible.
work?
I mean, mostly it's for the attack speed slow.
Sure.
You know, the W not only slows movement speed, but also attack speed. So it does really well against attack-based comps. But I doubt we'll see that one. But who knows? Who knows?
Wither is crazy strong. Loki agrees with you. Okay,
we'll see what they go for R4 here for BDS. I imagine they'll pick AD carry here. I don't know why they're leaving AD carry to second rotation, honestly. I always see it first picked, like in every game. And it is the Kaisa. Okay, so that really fits with their kind of dive on top of you, fight it to the death play style, and I like it.
Yeah, very clear. Oh, Rammus. Wait, is Rammus also? There's no way they're doing it. Wait, there's no way they're doing a Shurima.
I don't know who the support would be, though. Are there any Shuriman supports? Does anyone know?
There's no way they're doing an all Shurima comp.
Wait, he's not Shuriman. He's Demacian, though, right?
Yeah. No, he's Ionian, right?
Oh, I don't know anymore.
Someone who knows the lore really well. Okay, I think Zin is Ionian. Okay.
Okay.
All
so
right.
No more Shurima comp hopes, but they did have us. They did have us guessing there for a second.
Okay, they've gone as far away as they could from a desert country by picking Nautilus, a man who's mostly underwater.
Yeah, I would have liked maybe to see, you know, a Rammus or something else, but I don't think there's any Shuriman supports that I can think of, at least. So maybe the comp wouldn't have been that strong if they ended up locking it in. But BDS is hovering the Tom Kench here. That will get locked in. That does so well with their comp. Lots of peel, lots of protection, and has engage of his own. So it seems BDS have a very much, we're going to go in, we're going to fight you, we're going to engage type of comp, which is a little bit different than the game one, where we saw they kind of had a little bit split, where maybe the Varus and the Lux wanted to poke, and the rest of them wanted to go in. They're very much united in game two.
Absolutely. And yes, Sammy, I did see your... So we have these... we have these things that people can put out there. The caster compliments, you've heard some of them. One of them is called the Hunk Alert. And you don't have to keep track of this. I will barely be able to keep track of this. But Sammy has requested that now Billy Cheese Pizza is referred to as the Hunk. We'll do our best, Sammy, but I make no promises. But
Like
what
in game, we gotta call him the hunk.
as best we can. Don't sweat it too much.
Okay. No, I'm down for it.
All right, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. All right, but what I do promise, is to get these predictions up. Okay, boss, same game. We're looking at these comps. What do you see? What team is your heart telling you is gonna take the W here?
In this one, I think the Monkeys have it again, to be honest. This Renekton looked really good in game one. I expect a similar, if not better, level here in game two, with maybe some more practice, more improvements. And then besides that, they have a really good scaling advantage. And I will say, if this Sivir doesn't die the first time you catch her, she will shred through anyone in front of her once she gets some items. Same thing with that Azir. So I think these carries are really good at kind of that peel back, fight from range, kind of kill them if they make a bad engage kind of play style. So I think it is going to kind of depend on that initial spark of a fight. If it goes well for BDS, they might win. If not, I think Monkeys are just going to shred them.
I mean, if that wasn't basically game one, right? Both these teams are going to be ready for that situation because they just spent a good 30 minutes battling their way through it. Yeah, I mean, just play-wise, sometimes you look back and you're like, okay, like maybe there are some macro decisions that could be adjusted. But I thought everyone played relatively well. It's just kind of coming down to like hands and engaging and just trying to be as tight as possible.
Absolutely. I mean, and like I was mentioning earlier too, like BDS have such a one-dimensional team comp this game. I think it's all go in, which I think works really well with how they were playing. So maybe it'll work even better for their team this time. But I think they are kind of sticking to their guns here for both teams.
Now, Papoa has asked if you have a drink handy. The reason this is your first time casting with us, you're not beholden to the curses and laws of the stream as much. But one of the other things that they can purchase with channel points is it takes two to tango, which is where whatever the casters happen to be drinking, they'll drink for 10 seconds. Now, not yet, Papa. You're being so intimidating with your ellipses. Now, some people drink on stream. I just drink water. So all they're doing is getting me hydrated as hell. But if that comes up, just so you know what's going on.
Okay, noted. I do have some water across the room. If necessary, I'll walk over and grab it real quick. And I'm happy to oblige.
I think that's the last of the make the casters do something things. I'm pretty sure. We haven't added anything new in a hot minute. I think once we really started to face what monster we had unlocked, we we sort of started to rethink adding more of those.
No, I like it. It makes the stream a lot more fun. I like little things like that too.
We are but puppets, dancing for their amusement.
Indeed.
Nombra, yeah, we track stats. I am not part of the team that does this, but there is a team that tracks stats, and I do believe that the tourney draft works better for like the code that's supposed to do it, whatever system they have set up. But it's a good question for Ruffian or any of the development team.
Yeah, I know that even though they do the draft lull thing, the tournament draft is just better for tracking. I know that it also shows up in your match history, no matter who you are, if it's a tournament code. So that's probably the reason, if I had to guess, is so they can go to any of the player profiles, they can see stats later on, and it doesn't just disappear if you weren't spectating it.
That sounds right. Also, Bold Font 2... thank you for being the newest investor in the low-budget LCS. You followed us 5 minutes ago. I missed it. My apologies. But I want to take the time to thank you now. We appreciate you and the boldness of your font. Not everyone is brave enough to type in bolded font, but you are. We need more people like you. Kazadoom suggested Cassante support for Shurima. As a support main, do you think that's viable?
I've tested it a couple times. I've theory crafted. I think the main thing depends on what you build. um, if you're building something crazy and you're going like lethality or one of those crazy builds, I think that you can definitely cheese out a win. But I think the issue is he gets so bullied out by anyone with any range. Like a Lux, like we saw last game, would probably just shred through a Cassante Self Bar. But I am a huge fan of off-meta supports. I have my own Jax support that I think is actually really strong. He does well because he can kind of hop away from the poke. He has the counter strike. He has his own kind of free stats. Like I talked about in game 1 too, supports don't get very many items. So with my Jax, he gets free attack speed. He gets free resistances from the ultimate. He has his own base damages that are pretty high. So I am a lover of all things off meta, and I would love to see a Cassante support, personally.
Boss, thank you for divulging your secrets. Do you have any other things you've been working on in your mad scientist support lab?
Oh, I mean, fun enough, we see it in this game, the Vi. I've played Vi support too.
Sure.
That one's a little bit harder. It's easier to int on, for sure.
Yep.
Sometimes you just click R on the fed enemy and then boom, dead before you even hit the ground. But I have a couple of ones. Back in the old days, I used to play Nunu support.
Nice.
That one's definitely more of a troll pick, but in general, one of my favorites actually is I love to take teleport on supports. A lot of people like to take those combat sums, but if you take teleport, what I found is I can roam up to grubs, I can go gank top lane before 5 minutes, and I can teleport back and make sure my ADC doesn't get dove under tower. So that's one of my favorite little tricks.
I love that. So you keep the teleport not to use it on the roam, but if your ADC's in trouble, you have a way to get back there.
Exactly. I think it allows for so much more map pressure, but you do lose, the exhaust or the ignite, which I think can be a pretty big trade-off.
Sure, yeah, you gotta be pretty confident that something positive is gonna come of your roaming.
Absolutely.
Now, my support theory crafting has always been Zed support. My argument is just for the slow.
Okay.
I can hear the trepidation in your voice. I don't think it's good, but I do like to play with my friends sometimes.
No, I mean, if nothing else, it sounds fun, and I'm all for fun in League of Legends. I think that sometimes we get too caught up in, this is meta, this is high win rate, and of course I pay attention to that stuff too, but I love an off-meta, a for-fun build. Those can just make games so special.
I could not agree more. And speaking of fun, we are about to get into game 2 of this best of 3 series. Monkey is up 1-0 on Big Dig's Secret. We'll see if this is going to be the last game of the series or if we're going to go to all 3 games of the best of 3.
I don't know about you, but I'm hoping for a game 3. I always love to see more League of Legends. But Monkeys do have, I think, a really good angle into this game. So, of course, I would love it for them if they can pull off another win, if they can play the map like they did last time, even though we missed maybe the early part of it. But it seemed like their macro in the mid game was on point. So, love to see it.
Yeah, could not agree more. I think I think this is one of those series where both teams can kind of already walk away feeling like, okay, we are, at fighting weight here. And already I think we see a variation, right? There's no level 1 invade like we saw in game 1. They're deciding it worked out last game, but that doesn't mean we're going to run it back.
Yeah, and I think the main part of that's just that they got the vision, they know where the enemy jungler started, so they're not really that worried about having to push in and steal buffs. Bel'Veth's a champion that's really reliant on that, but Vi and Xin Zhao are mostly kind of our skirmishy, ganking junglers. So that's what I'll expect more. maybe when the clear's done, we'll see some ganks in the mid or top lane. That's where both teams really liked to fight last game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of last game, we saw BDS pick up just so many dragons and be like really on top. Oof. Some powerful trading in the mid lane. We saw them, be really aggressive and really thoughtful about that macro control over dragons. And I'll be interested to see if it's going to be the same story for game 2. Very different junglers for this matchup here. Do you think that's going to play into the pacing at all, or is it really just going to be like what the players decide to do?
I mean, I think, of course, it's a lot about the players, but what I do see kind of as the key difference here is the swap from a Zyra to a Xin Zhao.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference is that Zyra has so much pressure in terms of map mobility. She clears really fast, but Xin Zhao is really good at those early fights. So I think last game they might have said, it's not worth the early dragons. It's not worth the early dragons. But this time, it will be. Xin Zhao is good at those fights, and I think he totally can take on the vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, exact same matchup in the top lane, which I think it's always kind of interesting to see if it runs back in the same way. And of course, that scaling timer is kind of back on again, where you've got this Ornn who's going to be able to be handing over, really powerful items to the rest of his team if you let him get there.
Absolutely. I think that those items, their gold value is like insane. Like the stats it gives you just for free is so good to have on any team. Like I'm currently playing with my LBLCS team. I play a lot of Ornn. It's always just a good safe pick. You get a lot of scaling. You get a lot of like damage even in the early game. Just all around great champion.
Oh, speaking of early game, we're getting an early game gank right here as the charm connects, and a very, very clean gank as First Blood once again goes over to BDS.
And again, on that jungler, very proactive here for JoJo. Very much wants to be involved in that early game action, and I absolutely love it. That's how I love to play jungle too.
Yeah, and the charm, I mean, there was just no way to get out of that unless you immediately flash the charm.
Yeah, really only way would be if you already saw it coming. Speaking of the flash, we did have to invest the flash for that kill, but I think it is worth it in the end. Get that extra gold on the jungle.
Yes, indeed. And hold on, we're going to get another fight popping off right here as Murloc-Mancer is going in deeper. Maybe trying to get a kill, but they're going to feed that kill right into the Sivir.
Yeah, and I mean, we were talking about differences in champions between game 1 and 2. I think actually no difference might be bigger in this game than Murloc-Mancer going from Lux to Tahm Kench. Two very different style supports. I think they're both really strong supports if they're played well. So we'll see if they can kind of adapt and maybe play the new champion at a similarly like elite level that we saw the Lux.
Yeah, could not have said it better myself. Yeah, I'll be very interested to see Murloc-Mancer's play in this game because, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a completely different play style. A little bit of a skirmish here as the Nautilus is going to find themselves face-to-face with the Vi, getting punched around a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what the Vi wants to do, especially if they can play towards this mid lane that's already a little strong. They got the kill on the Azir. They knew that Billy Cheese Pizza was out, got chunked out of the lane. Oh, we got...
This is so Murloc-Mancer, waiting in a bush, looking to CC you. But unfortunately, maybe in a little bit of trouble here, burning that flash. Now following Billy Cheese Pizza on the run as well. He does not have his wall here. So, oh my god, the damage, though, coming out as the exhaust is going to go onto Praetor, who's absolutely earned it. But the Ornhorn coming as the rest of the team, they're not going to let Praetor go down easily. And look at that, 2-4.
Oh my god, that Ahri, the Ahri resets, so deadly and so well played from the side of BDS. That looked so bad for Murloc-Mancer. Invests the W to go in and had nothing to get out. Does waste his flash, or use his flash rather, but immediately followed by the Xin Zhao. So not really any way out of there, but wastes enough time with that thick skin, with that extra shield for the rest of the team to show up, and that spells disaster for the Monkeys so far in the early game.
Yes, indeed. And Xin Zhao going over the wall right here. Murloc-Mancer going to go in and get a knock up onto Zhao D. Bullet maybe not feeling like they can get into this mix just yet. Xin Zhao coming down. They're going to try and get another kill. Probably feeding it, yes, into the Sivir.
Yeah, and I mean, immediately punishing that no flash we just talked about. So, Dominus.
Yeah, coming out of Renekton here. Silly sees Sitza trying to get to Hordicus, waiting for a cooldown. Feels like he's going to have enough time. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Well-timed unstoppable.
Yeah, I wish I had checked the cooldowns. I don't know if the stun was back up or if they could have waited it. But either way, well played by both top laners. I think, like you said, we often do get baited as casters. We're like, oh, they're fighting, the ultimates come out, and then they walk away.
Absolutely.
It feels so zen.
Sometimes it goes the other way, too, where I'm like, no, we're talking about something else. We'll just let them slap each other around, and then, boom, somebody's dead, and it was an incredible fight. And we're like, oh, whoops. Our bad.
Well, missed that one.
Yep.
But what isn't, worthless to talk about or pointless to talk about is this Tahm Kench. As they've been making these map rotations, Murloc-Mancer has been looking for the fights, and so far it's been kind of hit or miss. Looking onto Azir.
Whoa! Really taking the Azir train. Billy Cheese Pizza probably feeling really good about that. Getting a shutdown.
Oh man, and that's what they talk about. I don't know if you watched any of the First Stand tournament, but a big talking point was this Vi and how some people just absolutely run it down. And I think that was a great example of how to do that easily. Just the ult can carry you into all the places you don't want to be. Yeah, it kind of spelled disaster for JoJo there. Maybe they thought that the Azir already used the dash. Maybe they thought that they didn't have it up.
I think this was
unfortunate.
This is the tax, right? Of just like, oh, right. Like, I'm Vi, that's the Azir, that's really the one champion that if I ult them, they can bring me into ruin.
Yeah. And I mean, even investing the ultimate there from Billy Cheese Pizza in that fight, just to make sure that the Vi did indeed go down. So kind of unlucky target to be at the end of that ultimate, but all in all, not too much lost for the side of BDS.
For sure, and Billy Cheese Pizza probably pretty happy about that. On this scaling champion, a lot of attention going to the mid lane right here. I think that sort of signs how much BDS want to get this Ahri ahead. Maybe we have a little bit of a fight right down here. That's going to be a hook that's going to connect. Well, the camera doesn't seem to know what to do. The exhaust will go out onto the Kai'Sa. And it's just top lane and bottom lane. Who knows what's going to happen here, folks? Ult is dropped as well. I'm being the most non-committal caster you could probably be right now. Okay, Teddy does back up. All right, now there's a fight at the top lane. What the hell's going on? Hordicus in a lot of trouble right here, but he's going to get the knock-up. And the Vi, really, really nice evasion right there. They do end up picking the Renekton.
Yeah, I mean, good choice to try to go for that flash. Silly sees Sitza was trying to go for the flash, maybe the stun onto the Ornn, just take him out. But sadly,
Murloc-Mancer. Murloc-Mancer absolutely in a little bit of trouble right there. Oh, will those bounces? No, not enough right there. They're walking forward. Bullet in a little bit of trouble. Zhao D gonna go down, actually gonna die, and a teleport behind this Sivir. Teddy in a little bit of trouble here. Maybe they realize it, maybe they don't. There it comes. Praetor is hungry tonight, but a perfect spell shield is going to keep Teddy alive. Not for long, though. He does end up falling. Xin Zhao, though, maybe able to clean up. Great flash from Murloc-Mancer, but Xin Zhao's not letting them get out just yet. Wow. What? Did you see what killed Sivir there? Wait, it's not done. It's not done! Xin Zhao still in the mix, but he's going to get charmed. He's going to get the double kill, and the turret will keep him alive.
Wow, what a great pickup from Xin Zhao. And to answer your earlier question, I think it's that Blackfire Torch in the inventory of Ahri. That little bit of burn damage.
Oh, Jesus.
More action already.
Vi right around the corner now. Billy Cheese Pizza is coming down. The camera doesn't care as we cut up to a fight in the top lane. Down back to actually a pretty interesting fight happening here in Dragon as Murloc-Mancer is going to go in. Nautilus has to be on the run. There we go. The Shurima ult dropped right there. I forget what it's called, but it gets him out of there.
We just call it the what is it? The hunk shuffle now.
The hunk shuffle, yes. Brilliant.
To appease our chat viewers, I guess. But JoJo pushing in with Murloc Mancer, looking to get some pressure. I think that both teams, again, have been playing this so well. Maybe a dive.
Whoa, very nice from Billy Cheese Pizza. Shuffling, sorry, the hunking their way out of there. Xin Zhao is going to go in. Murloc Mancer front lining very well. And Murloc Mancer just will not stop fighting. It is non-stop with them. And I love it. They're all over the map, and they're doing a great job switching from this Lux to this Tahm Kench.
Yeah, no, I mean, very aggressive. Even on the Lux was very aggressive. I can definitely see how that playstyle kind of shifts over.
Half health
Maybe
for
it's just top laners doing top lane things, it seems.
It does appear to be that way, but on the bottom side of the map, Dragon Pit has a lot of people around.
Yeah, contrary to game 1, we do see the first dragon win over to monkeys. So they are ahead in that regard so far. But it seems like BDS does not want the second one to share the same fate.
No, absolutely not. And one thing here, though, is that gold is just really, really in favor. Oh, Murloc Mancer are going to go in, try and stop them. That's going to be Xin Zhao dashing in. It's going to come down to a smite fight. Red team is going to get it as BDS secures their first dragon here. And Teddy coming around the backside, but so too does Horticus. It's a flank on a flank on a flank, a hat on a hat, as now it's a 2v4 as Sivir runs to safety. They've popped their ult, but Kaisa just dashing super easily to them. They are going to take them out. Great rotation, great defense there from BDS.
Yeah, I mean, incredible fight and incredible smites here from JoJo. I don't remember from game 1, but that Baron went over to JoJo as well. I don't think a single objective that's been a smite fight has gone over to the monkeys yet. So,
ooh.
The hunk shuffle does not connect.
No.
Nice flash there from Bullet.
Yeah, that was a huge flash. Very well done. Instantaneous. Does look like 5 of Void Grubs are going over to Big Dig Secrets.
Yeah. They do, crucially, that does take away the second objective mark for the feats of strength. So now that they only got 2 out of those 3 last grubs for the side of BDS here, they actually do not get any progress towards feats of strength for that. So good steal. Good pressure there for the Xin Zhao. They know what they want to shut down from this early lead found by BDS.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you know, now we're kind of caught up with what our pause brought us to in game 1 here. So I'm just, you know, we can only guess what game 1 was like in between the 6th and the 14th minute. We just have no idea if what we're seeing is typical or not. But now we're going to have at least a little bit of a baseline. We are kind of in a similar situation of, I believe BDS was up at that point as well. But I don't think by this much. They've got a lead and they are really trying to keep it.
Yeah, definitely. I think they did have a lead. I think that's right. But it definitely wasn't this much. And one key difference is that the top side was also winning for Monkeys in game 1. So currently this Renekton doesn't have any kills under his belt, actually has 0 kill participation, but does have a completed item. So I think in those team fights can still have a lot of value, but is not actively ahead of the Ornn like we saw in game 1.
That is right. When we tuned back in, I think Renekton had 2 kills and the Tristana had 2 kills as well. And it's not actually swinging as much that way for Monkeys this game.
Yeah, they do have some clear power points. This Sivir has some gold. This Azir has some gold. Those are really good scaling carries, but no, like, obvious game-winning advantage for either team, really.
Yeah, they're still going to have to wait for that to reveal itself. Well, Billy Cheese Pizza going to tank some turrets right here. Nice pushing of Ahri off. I do think they're going to have to make a conscious effort to respond to this Ahri and not let it get too strong. Although the Kaisa, oh my god, the Vi has 5 kills. There are quite a few power points on the side of BDS right now. What do you think is the biggest problem that's arisen from BDS's lead?
The problems for monkeys is mostly I think that this turret pressure they're gonna fall. Like we see right now, as I was just about to mention, we did get the Rift Herald for the side of BDS. So getting that push again, they did get the first turret. I believe that does secure them the feats of strength, but Teddy might just go down.
Yeah, absolutely. Murloc-mancer, very nice shield in the last second there. Going to keep themselves alive. Smite onto it, and a fight is going to break out as Nautilus ult is going to knock up Praetor. But it just will not be enough as they rip through the Xin Zhao. They're looking to make short work of this turret.
Yeah, and that's a key difference between Game 1 as well. Their Rift Herald really got a lot of value, and Game 1 they only got 1 tower, now they got 2 turrets, so that's a ton of gold. We saw that lead that was about 3,000 a minute ago is now 4. So they did get a bunch of extra gold in their pockets for that one. They got 2 kills in the process, and like I was mentioning before they started cutting me off with all their fighting again, they did get the feats of strength. So they get those upgraded boots, for the side of BDS here, which is a good power point, like I said, especially for that scaling. And I think that this Vi has been really good for moving the pace of this game forward.
Yeah, she has just been absolutely everywhere. Next dragon coming up in 14 seconds. Neither team is like on top of it right now, but it does look like BDS is starting to shift their way there. Nautilus making a roam up topside. They might be trying to pick this Ahri. Actually, they're getting really close to that Ahri. A ping going out for help up there. I know this dragon's being taken. I'm just curious what's going on up there. Because this dragon will probably not have any trouble getting taken. There's the exhaust and the hook goes wide. Praetor is safe.
Yeah, they did get the ultimate out of the Ahri, so she cannot afford to stay here anymore. The Nautilus ult is point and click, so any hopes of remaining in the area are probably squashed there for Praetor. But they do get the dragon in the process, so it looked like monkeys were willing to try and trade that second dragon for maybe the kill on the Ahri, but they did not end up finding it on the top side.
No, they did not. And Renekton doing a little bit of trading there, kind of seeing, okay, trading isn't going in my favor, but they don't know that the rest of the team is coming down. Do they have Dominus? They're going to get knocked up, the rest of the damage being popped onto them, and they're just taken out before they can really do anything about it.
And Nautilus here just a little bit too late to help out. I don't know if it would have done much anyways, but a little late on the backup, and great dive from the side of BDS here.
Yeah, really, really clean. And the lead continues to grow bit by bit. Not too much more than 4K right now. But there will have to be a pivot at some point. You gotta stem the bleeding in some way or another.
Yeah, I mean, I think the name of the game here for monkeys is just slow it down. They want these carries to get items. They want the Vi to stop progressing the game. If they can slow it down, maybe find a good fight, like a numbers advantage fight, that's probably their best shot of kind of mitigating that gold lead. But even then, I think it really will come down to kind of those late game team fights for both of these squads.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I agree. Slowing it down, right, that's the thing you want to do. But then you look at the go buttons on the side of BDS and you just think, okay, how do I slow things down if Avi's ulting me, if Ahri's charming me, Kai'Sa's dashing to the fight, Murloc-mancer just no regard for their own safety, willing to start a fight at any cost. It's it's a hill to climb, but you're gonna have to climb it.
And they will. They do have the flash coming up on both of these carries, as he already has it, and Sivir has it soon. So it seems like they do have some good options to try and dodge this engage, but with the point-and-click VIR, with the Orenhorn, with the Ahri with 3 dashes, it is sometimes so hard to just get away from these characters. If you really don't want to take that fight, they can kind of force you to get in there and fight.
Yeah, it's extremely sticky team. Very, very, very sticky. And they're doing a good job of kind of playing around. Okay, to their credit, Monkey is actually slowing it down. It's been a couple minutes. Nobody's been picked. They're clearly not going to risk anything right now until there is something actually to risk. And because of that, they're calling for this Otacon. You feel like
However,
this is
they
an
do
objective you need
have
to
a
die
ward
for?
right on it. Personally, I don't think so. And they lose all chance of sneaking up on it right now. This ward is revealing their location exactly. It looks like Monkeys does want to collapse, and they are now in a weak spot. They have to get these roses or it's all worthless.
Yes, indeed, and the fight's going to pop off as now Murloc Mancer's going to find their way into the backline. Horticus teleporting in as well. Caesar is actually going to get cut down by Bullet and Ari on the backline, and now the power points of BDS get to walk forward and attack the backline as Sivir does have to flash away. A great Shurima shuffle as he's trying to get an outplay moment here, but he will get taken down. Jojo on the run. Sivir in a little bit of trouble. They're picking up some of these roses as they walk away. Xiao Dai, though, is going to go down. That's going to be a 4 for 2. Teddy still might fall. Let's see. Getting charged at. A smite went down as well. He's doing his best to kite, and it actually did a really good job, but he will fall in the end.
Yeah, that's a really good ace there for the side of BDS. They knew what they wanted to play for. They knew the fight they had to take, and really only Merclomancer and Bullet being the sacrifices there. They got the Otacon. I don't really know how many of the roses went either way. That was a very chaotic team fight. But point is, a lot more gold, the one fight going over to BDS. And what I want to highlight there, I know we don't have a replay or anything, but thinking back, I saw that Tahm Kench just stalled so much time.
Yes.
Like, when I was watching the fight, I was looking at the two fronts. Renekton was on the back line. The Ornn was getting taken down by the other side of the fight. But really, that Kench just kind of died and like, made them so much space, so much time, so that they could really take over the fight.
Oh boy. Xiao Dai in a little bit of trouble right here. Goes for the hook to Spider-Man his way out, but does not connect with any terrain. And all of that happened in a 2-minute span. Dragon just spawned.
Yeah, insane how the pace of this game's been all over the place. We see sometimes nothing's happening, very calm and quiet, and then it seems so explosive, so fast. And that's why I love watching these two teams play. They seem like they very much know what they want to do, they know what they like, and they're playing for it.
Yeah, it really is popping off. A kill a minute is always a good sign that, you know, it's a banger, and we're at 30 kills in 24 minutes, so these teams are really putting on a show for us. And there's the third dragon picked up. BDS once again finding themselves on Soul Point.
Yeah, so kind of playing for that same win con. It didn't work out so well for them in game one, but I think with their gold lead on top of the Dragon Soul, it could really do some work for them here in game two.
Yeah, we are certainly seeing a different game state than game one for BDS. I think those fights were much more back and forth, and we're just seeing a lot of consistent dominance from BDS in these team fights so far.
Yeah, and I think one of the key differences is that there are a couple carries that Renekton wants to get onto that he just can't. Like, Ahri dashes away, Kai'Sa has the ult, Kai'Sa has the invincibility, and even if they end up getting caught, the Tahm Kench can just eat them, and they never die. So I think it makes it so hard to punish for the side of Monkeys, especially when they're already down a little bit of gold here. Or not a little bit, I guess I just looked up. That's a 7,000 gold lead now.
Whoa! On top of that, those dragons as well. I mean, yeah, BDS is in the driver's seat for sure. You just kind of have to decide what the next thing they want is, and it looks like that thing is Baron.
Indeed, and real quickly here, I also wanted to mention those Ornn items coming out. Vi already has one, Kai'Sa already has one. Amazing gold value for those characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're probably looking like at an actual, probably like 10K gold difference. There's Baron. And Nautilus is just on the run. All you can do is try and get out of there, but there's just so much CC.
Yeah, not really any shot of leaving there, and the Baron just goes uncontested from the side of Monkeys. They do have great wave clear, but if they can find a good fight, I think BDS just takes this game.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with Baron. The question is just going to be, will Monkey give it to them? Because, you know, you're going to try to avoid losing, you know, or putting everything into a game in a fight like this. So they're just going to have to keep knocking objectives over until Monkeys have no choice but to fight them.
And I think the real kicker there is going to be the Elder Dragon, if we get there, if the game lasts that long. But it looks like BDS is grouping together. They're pressuring multiple lanes. They want to get that fight. If they get that one crucial fight, I think they just end the game. And that's really what they're playing for. I think for the side of Monkeys, if they can stall it till that Elder, again, the great equalizer, that might give them a chance to get back in.
Yeah, you know, if we're talking about possibilities here, you give your Sivir and your Azir a little bit more time to scale, which, you know, kind of was. Oh, there's the charm going out right there. Praetor up close and personal with this Renekton, but they've got so much damage and a bunch of mobility that they haven't even unlocked yet. They didn't even bother to press the ult right there. That's the Azir, who is eaten up, flashes over the wall, but still gets killed on their way back. And Murloc just feeling real comfortable in the 2v1, walking away, getting the shield. The rest of their team's not even a part of it. Bullet's gonna flash forward. Kills happening all over the place, just trying to auto it out, and they do as a shutdown goes to Zhao Dai. A 3 for 4, not exactly what BDS wants. Honestly, probably stops the game from ending right now.
Yeah, we'll see what this Nautilus can get done. There is a full 20 seconds till Azir is back up.
Oof.
So maybe a shot here, but all of their pushing strength is gone. So yeah, it looks like BDS will just kind of call it off. They say we need our auto attack, we need our Kai'Sa, we need our Ahri if we want to end up taking down those turrets. But what an interesting fight from both teams. Lots of split kind of 2v2s, 2v3s, and Merklemancer really just feeling it. Diving right in, very bold, very precise, loves the Tahm Kench pick, and I can see why. It just survives for so long.
Yeah, I always love it when you can see player personality extend beyond the champion picks, and just watching that Lux and watching this Tahm Kench, I'm just like, that's the same player for sure. That's the same player, same attitude. They're just making things happen.
Absolutely, and I love it. That's exactly how I like to see the game played. I think it works really well for these engage comps. Very proactive, very like just wanting to make stuff happen, and that's what this Kench character is really good at.
Speaking of being proactive, teleports over to this dragon, and top lane's in a little bit of trouble, and they've indexed everybody to come over to this. They really need this to work out. Monkey's betting everything on this dragon. Let's see how it plays out. Front line is in play. Xin Zhao on the side right there. Renekton taking some chip damage, ulting to give themselves a better chance, but the fight is not starting in earnest. BDS really want to wait out that ult before it starts. They're looking for an angle. That's Renekton going in right there. Merklemancer, of course, dives into the backline. The Ornhorn is being called. Teddy still alive. The Sivir trying to get these autos down, but they get taken out of the fight. Renekton, the next to fall. Then goes the, what's it called? I forgot everybody's name, but the fight is done. BDS have done it. The teleport happened in the middle of the whole shebang anyways. And we are going to game 3 of this best of 3 series.
Incredible win, the comeback, and such a decisive victory here for BDS. They said, we don't care about game 1. We know that one didn't work out for us. They picked the same style, and they looked so good on it this time. They pushed the game. They took what they wanted. They got almost every objective, and even in the end, they won a 4v5 fight. Ahri wasn't even there. Praetor opted to TP into the base, look at that super minion pressure, knew that it was a really good and kind of decisive way to win the game. It was a very, very easy and clear play with the teleport.
Yeah, 100%. And just peeking at these damage charts, I mean, Azir actually top in the charts. Right there, but you see the brick of damage that was coming out of BDS there. I mean, they played extremely well. They did a great job.
They did, and I mean, I'm never surprised when I see a Liandry's abuser on the top of the damage charts. I always say that whenever this item is picked up, whoever it is probably getting number 1 damage. It just provides so much free damage as an item. So he did opt to go for the full damage build, Liandry's and Nashers. So a lot of work coming out from the Azir, and those shuffles were really good, but just not quite enough to overcome that massive gold lead for the side of BDS.
Yeah. And now, okay, boss, we're going into game 3. We've seen 2 games here. We've got both teams have made a case for why they should be the ones to walk away with the win. We'll talk about this again once we see what champions have been picked, but from what we know now, who do you think is taking this series?
I think that if BDS can get on this kind of engage, don't let them breathe, kind of this no like safety allowed, I guess, play style again. I think they will take it, and probably decisively. I think that we needed either to see more peel on the side of monkeys, or maybe just kind of ban away some of those engaged champs for BDS to kind of see this more like equalized, because it like equalized pressure in game. It seemed like BDS was really comfortable on what they were doing. They really knew what to do with this kind of engage comp, and I think the key will just be not letting them get that again.
Now, is there any one champ that you would get rid of in that, or it's just more or less be aware of the concept, sculpt the draft around it?
I mean, I think that JoJo looked so good on that Vi. I think that would definitely be one to get rid of if they have any bans that they wanna shoot for. Besides that, I think it's really more of just kind of a mindset and a play style. Like, even the Tahm Kench can be played very much as a peel support, but in this game it was Abyssal Voyage in, always knock them up, go for it. Like, he ate the Azir, he spat them back into the team. I think these players just really know what they want, and they know how to make those champions kind of mold around them.
Yeah, I mean, what are we going to see Merklomancer on at this point?
At this point, I'll see an Enchanter, and they'll still be flashing into the team. And they'll be making those plays, playing all kinds of champions. Either way, I'm excited.
Yeah, truly, Enchanter's the last archetype for them to really... Well, I guess... no, Lux isn't really an Enchanter. It's just DPS mage. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Merklomancer's just a bag of tricks.
Yeah, I as a support player, I totally admire it. I was always really good at engage, but not so good at the other styles. So seeing them play all of them at such a good level, I said elite level before, and I really mean it. Like, it looked very good, very decisive, clear power points on both champions.
I want to see monkeys pull back a little bit to that game one. I felt like their game one comp kind of gave them some more options, and I wonder if the Renekton, I mean, if they keep running back the Renekton because they feel comfortable on it, but I wonder what else can be slapped up in the top lane there, because I think we saw the advantage of having the Ornn up there, and if you're not beating that Ornn down with the Renekton, then the whole team's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was something you were mentioning too. It was the same matchup, but it went such an opposite direction of game one. They were able to play around the early game of the Ornn, and then BDS was able to mitigate that pressure, and Renekton didn't get that early lead that we saw in game one. So I think if we do see the same matchup again, it is kind of coin flippy, basically depending on how the Monkeys top jungle wants to play the matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. They've sent the draft link out to us. They're not starting it up yet, but these teams are getting close to jumping into game 3 here. I'm sure just having a little bit of a huddle on what the strat is.
Yeah, I know with my team in between games, it's we're in the VOD as soon as the game's over. We're watching what we did. We're trying to figure out where we could do better or where we might need to back off. All the stuff like that, super important, even in between games.
Yeah, I mean, there was so much attention thrown into the mid lane in this game too. It didn't feel like that way in game 1, if I'm recalling correctly. Although I guess we just jumped right into the roaming and team fight area, but just so much conscious effort to throw resources to buffing that Ahri up, to making Praetor the threat that the Ahri eventually became. I think that's going to be something that will be in the head of the mid laner of Monkeys, just remembering like, okay, if the jungler decides to come mid a ton, we've got to be ready for that. We can't let Praetor start running away with the game.
Absolutely. And I mean, fun enough, you were mentioning game one where we kind of missed that early game mark. But I think when we came back, wasn't the Tristana like 2-3-0?
Yes.
Like it seems like they played for the mid, but in the opposite side for the other team in game one. So maybe we'll see a lot more emphasis on this mid matchup. Because so far it's kind of been whoever wins mid wins the game. And maybe we'll see that trend continue.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough. Bot lanes have been interesting. Very different jungle picks, too. So maybe we'll get something radically different in the jungle. I don't know. We've talked about the crazy mad scientist support possibility picks. Both drafts we've kind of come away with, okay, something interesting could be happening here, but they've pretty much run it more or less straight standard. Nothing too insane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm praying for that Cassante support, but you know, we'll never know when it'll come in. I haven't seen that much off meta. Yes, full Shurima. I'd like to see Monkeys do it. I think that'd be fun.
Now they're talking about pizza in the chat. Saying what kind of pizza do they want? Talking about Chicago style. What is Detroit style pizza? I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Yeah, I'm actually not familiar either.
All right, Detroit style pizza. Oh, it sounds fucking delicious.
Ooh.
Wait, I'm gonna sneeze. Anyways,
bless you.
So, Detroit style pizza is characterized by its thick, crispy crust, square shape, and cheese spread to the edges of often baked in a blue steel pan. I don't know what a blue steel pan is.
Me neither, but it looks to be like in the pictures, it looks just like a thick metal pan. I imagine it'll like cook it more evenly all around, more heat distribution maybe.
Well, we'll look more into that later. Draft has begun. We are... Oh, and they've also switched sides. So I'm going to switch some images around, but they're off to the races.
Yeah, we're seeing some bands out here. It looks like the same bands again. We got the Ziggs, we got the Mundo. I think both these teams know what they don't want the other team playing right off the bat. Either that or these might be random champions. I don't know. I assume these are power picks for each side, though. But I will say they are very odd characters. You don't see a lot of Mundo's bands. You don't see a lot of Shaco's in competitive either way. So we'll see what they end up going for. The Zyra ban is a new one, I believe, here from BDS. So they don't want Monkey's jungler back on the Zyra. They didn't like that in game one. So they kind of want to take that away here in the final decisive game 3 of this series. Maybe we'll get the last ban out here. Timer's ticking down, but the Shen and the Mundo, and it is same bans over from Monkeys, so they don't want to see those 3 characters, and we'll see what BDS wants for the first pick. In game 1, I believe, I can't remember. I think they didn't have first pick in game 1. I think it's been the Renekton both games in a row. But they actually opt to first pick the Ornn this time. So we'll see if Monkeys want the Renekton into Ornn matchup again. It's now fully up to them. And the timer's ticking down once again. We'll see what they want as kind of the counter pick here. It's very interesting to see that they chose the top lane priority for both teams so far. Normally, like I said, you don't really see the first pick top laners, but they do actually go for the Renekton. So same matchup again here in game 3. We had a game 1 that went to the Renekton. We had game 2 that went to the Ornn. So even though, you know, despite the whole series on the midst here, we will see who wins the top lane best of 3. Which team will end up coming out on top between these two fairly common top lane characters. And then it looks like ADC is locked in the first phase this time for the Monkeys. They get Caitlyn Like I was talking about earlier, really high range, really high lane priority. She's able to kind of push in and fight anyone that she wants to. So really kind of decisive, good power pick there for the monkeys. And we'll see what BDS wants to do to respond to that. Usually you either go for kind of hard engage or you can match the range. They are going to pick up the Jinx here, kind of want to match the scaling, but they are probably going to have a little bit less lane pressure with this type of AD carry.
This is the Jinx that we were talking about in game 1 that maybe it was Papa was saying that it was so dangerous. I think it got banned in game 2. And here it is, finally showing up on the scene.
Yeah, I'm personally excited, and there's the Enchanter, very common for a Jinx. We have a Jinx Lulu bot lane for BDS. So actually, what will that be? I can't remember the name anymore.
Murloc-Mancer.
Yeah,
Murloc-Mancer's World Tour.
Murloc-Mancer. Yeah, literally choosing all 3 types of supports throughout 3 games. We'll see if this is I've seen Lulus run Electrocute, they run in your face, they do all this crazy stuff. I think if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Murloc-Mancer.
Yeah, they're going to find a way to express their aggression here. But pretty solid teams. Both people, they've got damage, they've got engage. There's front lines, there's back lines. Already really full team comps.
Yeah, I will say this Jinx is such a strong power pick, mostly off that passive. If she gets 1 reset in a fight, she shreds everybody. A lot of teams pick her just for kind of that X factor. You know that if you get her ahead or if you get her 1 good team fight, it can totally blow a game wide open. So generally, really solid AD carry pick here for BDS. Monkeys do respond with the Jarvan, so kind of more similar to the Game 2 Xin Zhao pick, but notably he does really well into those immobile carries. So Jinx doesn't have any dashes. If Jarvan kind of boxes her in, does the Cataclysm, she might have nowhere to go and might fall prey to the burst damage of monkeys.
Yes, indeed. They are really taking their time, being very thoughtful with these drafts. This is the last one. Doesn't matter who wins this one, whoever wins it, they've got the series. Skarnar.
Indeed. And you can see that monkeys are kind of banning out the kind of beefy engaged champs. They don't want to give any more tools for the side of BDS to go in to play that same play style. They are trying to kind of deny those picks from BDS. And I don't know who plays mages on the side of monkeys. I'm guessing the mid laner, but 2 mages banned out for BDS. They don't want to see that AP threat coming in. Currently, monkeys are all AD, so trying to kind of limit the mage champ pool is a really, really good strategy here for BDS.
Yeah, if you can ever force a team to be just 1 kind of damage, it's probably going to work out well for you. Oh, the Ahri being picked away from BDS.
Yeah, so they ban the Galio. That's another good engaged champ. They take away the Ahri. We'll see what BDS wants to play in the mid lane here. But they probably, if they're going to play the same playstyle they've been playing, they want an aggressive, go-in skirmish champ. My first thought, Silas. Oh, right as he goes up there.
Did somebody say Silas?
Yeah, I'm on point with the predictions today. But Silas is one of those very skirmishy champions. He likes to play with the jungler, go around, find some fights. And that's what we've seen BDS be really good at in this series.
Yes, indeed. That volley bear being hovered be a pretty thick comp here from BDS. They're really thinking about it, and there it is.
And that seems to be what they want to go with. I will say we got the brothers. We got the Ornn and Volibear.
Yes.
Both the demigods on the side of BDS. However, my initial thought is just maybe a lack of peel on their team. I think we saw that be an issue in game 1. This Lulu is going to provide a lot, but if this Jinx has a Renekton and a Jarvan and an Ahri going at her, I don't really know who's going to be protecting her besides this Lulu.
Yeah, I think we're going to... Whoa!
Okay.
Is that something you've seen in a hot minute?
Mostly you see the Bard if we have these kind of immobile carries. So they're kind of locking onto this Jarvan mentality. It looks like they really hate this Jinx. They don't want to let this Jinx play League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
If the Bard ults her, that's a free pick. The Ahri can get on her, the Jarvan can get on her, besides their own tools to just get on top of the Jinx. So really keep an eye on this Bard ult. It also can be used to deny the Rift Herald, which is a good use of that. Which BDS has been using to knock open the game in games 1 and 2. So maybe just a good pick to kind of mitigate some of BDS's strengths.
Well, you can tell us who you think is going to win by betting those schmeckles on the predictions that have just been opened up. Last one, game 3, 1-1 so far. You know, maybe you'll make your fortune tonight. Who can say? Also, I apologize to Alpaca Bowl. Thank you for being the newest investor in the low budget LCS. You followed us 35 minutes ago. It slipped by me, and I apologize because an Alpaca Bowl, it's exactly the kind of sporting event that I would like to go to. I'm assuming it's gentle on the alpacas. I'm hoping it's gentle on the alpacas. But I'll see you at the next Alpaca Bowl. Alpaca Bowl. Oh my god, it's Alpaca Bowl. Like a weed thing. Maybe? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking too much about this. Alpaca Bowl, you let us know. I've just talked about you for 60 seconds straight.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought was maybe the weed implications there, but I love an alpaca as much as the next person, so I'd love to see whatever sporting event involves that.
Yeah, they're fluffy as fuck.
Absolutely.
All right. Now there's no surprises here, right? Everyone's going in the lane we think they're going in.
I think so. I would maybe like to see some spicy picks, but it seems pretty cut and dry who's going where. In for both teams, honestly. I know for a fact that these two first picks are the top laners, as we've seen that in the last 2 games straight. But besides that, it seems pretty standard.
Nothing would be crazier than flexing the Renekton right now.
That would really catch him off guard.
Yes.
But I do hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that Renekton was just locked in for the top lane for Monkeys. So maybe our flex hopes have been killed.
You know, that's all right. I get it. It's game 3. This is not the time to do something super, super insane.
Agreed. I know when you get to the high stakes, it's hard to try new things. You just want to pick comfort, you want to play your champions, and you want to perform well.
And I think these are two team comps that, like, the plan of these compositions is pretty straightforward. You know how this is going to operate. Both teams are going to have to work around a lot of dive. You've got some hyperscaling champions on the board that you've got to be very concerned about, and then you've got some possible answers to that. But I'll say this, scaling for this game certainly seems to lean on the side of BDS.
Absolutely. I mean, the Jinx is just such a good scaling power pick. And there's a lot of champions on the side of Monkeys that are kind of iffy if you get to the late game. I know Jarvan is so strong early, but he can die so quickly in those late game team fights. And same with that Renekton. The Bard isn't really known for scaling either. So I think very good observation there.
Oh my goodness. Medusua, thank you for being the newest investor in the low budget LCS. You're a 3,800th follower. I think I messed up that word a little bit. I'm getting a little sleepy, I'm not going to lie to you. Thank you so much for the follow. You helped us pass a benchmark, or at the very least meet it. And we appreciate the hell out of you. We don't have a t-shirt for you or anything like that, but it's kind of cool. Okay. We know what's happening. We know what's coming. My question to you, boss, is there going to be a level 1 invade?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. I know if I was playing either of these teams, I wouldn't want it.
That's fair.
Mostly just because you don't want to throw, you don't want to give either team an advantage in the early game. But also, I don't really see a lot of really good early game CC tools on either team. Maybe the Silas grabs somebody. Maybe if Ari decides to start Charm or something like that. But there's no obvious, like, Blitzcrank, Thresh, Brawl.
Right.
That's going to really kind of force us into some level 1 action. But personally, I would love to see it. I think it's a lot more fun if you aren't kind of waiting around for a minute after the game begins.
What did was boy, this is remembering really far back, but what was the game 1 support? Did they have a champ that was prompting them to invade? Or were they just going for it? It was Galio mid. It was the Lux.
Probably had the binding.
Yep.
So that would be a good level 1. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, no, Merklemancer does not have the hard CC this game.
Yeah, but I mean, that polymorph, very strong.
True.
And I am a Lulu player, and I will say I've made some crazy plays.
Ooh.
You can definitely pull out some tricks. Make sure that you can make the action happen, and Merklemancer has done nothing if not make things happen in these last 2 games too. So I think we'll see some stuff going around this Lulu.
Rain Gaming and Troisenberg have corrected, and I started saying this first. It's Murloc Mancer. Wait, have we been saying it wrong or right?
Oh, I think we've been saying it wrong. I see that now.
Listen, you're right. Thank you for correcting us. We will do our best. It's been 2 hours of this stream so far. For this last game, we'll see if we can hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, I think I remember we said it correctly at first, but I think at some point along the way we lost our way.
Yeah, a sorcerer of Merkle's. It's
of course.
Dangerous work out there, being a sorcerer of such great strength. But someone's got to do it. And Murloc Mancer is the one. God, I know I'm going to mess it up now. I just know it. There's just no way.
Well, I mean, if being a sorcerer has taught us anything, it means you can play all kinds of support champions. So
yes.
It seems like being a sorcerer is a really good thing.
Hey, they're making it work here. You got the magic from the Lux, you got the magic from the Lulu. I don't necessarily think of Tom Kench as a sorcerer, but he'd be a good patron for a warlock in a D&D campaign. It'd be pretty solid.
Indeed, yeah.
I'd listen to that. You know what I'd also listen to? Game 3 of this best of 3 series, Monkeys vs. Big Dig Secrets. You are about to get your answers here tonight. If you've stuck with us through this whole thing, hot damn, thank you so much for spending your evening with us. It's a beautiful, nice Tuesday night here. Boss, that looks like level 1 action to me. Okay, it's gonna get stuffed pretty quickly, but they at least 5 stack and push in to the enemy's brush.
They want to go for it. Maybe they're thinking about this bard being enough.
Whoa! Praetor getting slapped a little bit around by Xiao Dai. And yeah, they are really pushing in. Will they commit to it, and how will that information be passed on? It's going to matter a lot in what JoJo tries to do.
Indeed, they did get a ward onto the blue buff, so they'll know if this Volibear ends up starting topside. I think it will expire before JoJo reaches topside if he starts on the bot side. So, but either way, they'll have some information about where he's going. Does look like he wants to start topside, so maybe they will get a lot of valuable information out of that first invade.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the junglers are going to mirror each other. I don't think there was enough time for Yi Clone to mix it up once they did see him show on that ward, but still, just good to know. They don't know that, right? They have no idea where the Jarvan is. Could be invading right now. He's not,
Yeah,
but
it
he could
looks like Praetor did get a ward onto the Raptors, so they'll see when Jarvan starts cycling down, but currently they don't really know where he's at.
Oh, lots of trading so far. I love it. I love it when I understand when teams take game threes a little bit slower, and I would never begrudge any team for doing that. But I do love it when teams say, "Oh, it's game three. I don't care at all. I'm going to fight you exactly in the same way that I fought you in games 1 and 2 because it worked in one of those games, and we're going to see if it works this time."
Yeah, I mean, a lot of confidence that we're seeing from both teams here, and I think a lot of confidence is necessary to take this game 3. It's a lot about who's going to pull the trigger first, who's going to get in and fight their way, and I think that's kind of been the theme of this series so far.
Yeah, two teams being unabashedly who they are. That Electrocute is doing work in the mid lane.
Yes, it is. I mean, I'm sure we've all played a melee into ranged matchup before, but it's usually not very fun for the melee character. And that's what we're seeing Praetor experience here on the Sylas.
Yeah, certainly not for a bit at least. And I'd be so curious if Billy Cheese Pizza has always, been an Ahri player. 'Cause it really feels like it's a pick away from Praetor. Oh, nice knock-up here. Porticus, gonna get that knock-up. Very nice. Bullet landing the zap. Murloc Mancer. Really thinking about that name now. Doing a great job keeping their ADC alive. And maybe gank 1 coming out here. Praetor gonna dive and dash in. Jojo, very nice placement of that storm. Doesn't quite connect with the Ahri, but it puts him into a really, really rough spot. Xiao D coming up here. Gets the heal. And actually, Jojo might be in trouble. This is the counter gank, and that's going to be the first blood. Praetor has to dash away. Really good response. We didn't see that in game 2 from Monkey, but in game 3, they are here and ready to respond to that mid gank. Ooh,
yeah,
bullet.
I mean, well played. Oh, you might get more fighting here.
Yeah, definitely a trap does get landed. Good flash on the other side of the trap right there. Yi Cleon almost goes down, and that's an excited bullet as he runs away, but he does get taken down by a Caitlyn auto attack. You just can't dodge those, and Murloc Mancer in a little bit of trouble, still causing trouble as they go down, but that is going to be the bot lane of BDS falling.
Yeah, and I mean, and such a crucial kind of counter gank for the mid lane there. I thought the Ahri was dead for sure with only flash up, no level 6, does get ganked by the Volibear, but the does not die. Crucially, the Volibear Lightning Storm does miss. So not enough damage to kill the Ahri. Then Yclone was able to pull up and punish it, even if maybe they did trade a couple kills on the back foot there. But either way, that is the feats of warfare. Oh, I don't have time for that either.
Yeah, Jojo's gonna go in. They get the stun, but do they have the damage? It's a lot that does go on to the Ahri, but they have to back up. On the other hand, Xiao D really looking for it. They're gonna come in. Let's see, that's gonna be the flash, but does not land the stun. Billy Cheese Pizza doing a good job of picking up these minions. I mean, these teams are here to fight, boss. They are not messing around.
Indeed, and as I was trying to mention before, I was rudely interrupted by another mid gank.
It's gonna happen a lot.
Indeed, the feats of warfare, those first 3 kills, did go over to red side here, so they are one step closer to getting their upgraded boots, and we'll see if that can amount to anything for this team.
Yeah, and now Dragon is up for grabs. The Dragons have been a really interesting pattern in this series. Yeah, we've seen both teams take control of it from game to game, and then also in some instances take back control. But we're gonna see Monkey make the first move here as Jarvan solo is gonna start this Dragon up.
Yeah, I mean, Jarvan is really good at taking these early objectives. He has a lot of early game damage, and he gives himself an attack speed boost. So it makes sense that he wants to kind of just solo it, sneak it out from under their noses, and trade those grubs in the early game.
Yeah, yes indeed. Now, okay, two supports fighting each other, ADCs fighting each other in 1v1s. Now, this is going to put the onus on Monkey to stop BDS from getting 6 grubs. So, we're going to keep our eyes on that and what decisions are made at that point in time, because we saw how much grubs can affect the game last time. Okay, 4 people diving this bot lane. Bullet getting a very nice shield right here as Murloc Mancer is actually going to do an incredible job of keeping Bullet alive, and that is going to be a 2-for-1 on the dive. Really well executed as we see a 1v1 up here in the top lane. Really nice flash away from Horticus.
Yeah, manages to stay alive there. Does have to use the Ornhorn and the Flash to get away from Silly C's Sitsa. But it looks like the Renekton is taking the favorable end of this matchup in Game 3. No jungler, if I'm not mistaken, has been topside yet. So it looks like they aren't trying to influence... Ooh.
In a little bit of trouble right here as Silly sees Sitsa. Nothing silly about waiting out the back of your opponent. Very, very well executed.
Another friend.
Well, no question about it now. This Renekton is in the lead. That is a solo bolo up for the Monkey top laner. Silly sees Sitsa on the Renekton all 3 games, but as definitely has probably the strongest start here in Game 3.
Well, we talked about... of these 2 teams, Monkey's the one that kind of needs to get out ahead early, and they're doing it. It's happening. They're putting themselves in a position where their composition can thrive.
Absolutely. They're looking for the pick comp this time. They have the 6-2 kill advantage. That's already 2,000 gold in their favor. So, well done in the early game here. It's kind of a shift in pace that we've seen in the last 2 games. Last 2 games, it's been... another top lane scrap here.
Yes, indeed. Horticus, a thick top laner, does seem to be able to walk out of it.
But long story short, we seem kind of, it seems like Monkey's kind of playing the style that we saw BDS play the last 2 games. So we'll see if they can do it better than BDS did.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're approaching another action point as we see junglers coming down into the bot lane. We saw a huge dive against BDS just a minute ago here, but this time we've got JoJo waiting in the weeds, thinking about backing. His jungler senses are telling him the truth. The other jungler is here. Econ, they're going to look to run it back. Ari's coming down as well. Cameron wants to see top lane, but here he goes. Jadai looking quite low as Volibear making short work of him. That's a shutdown onto the Bard. Yclone, Polymorph forced to flash over the wall. And now Praetor's here as the collapse, the trap was set, and the jaws now close as they are trying to connect onto Teddy. Praetor, maybe an angle. We don't know what the cooldowns are. That's going to be a Volibear ult, and they are really going to commit to that. That's a shutdown and a brilliant trap set by BDS.
Yeah, absolutely. They knew they wanted to go for the dive. They saw them setting up. They saw them rotating, and they were able to punish it this time. So no more free kills for Monkey. They did get this Jinx an extra kill. They got the Volibear an extra kill. So all in all, great play from BDS. They took that 2,000 gold lead up down to a 1,000. So they've equalized the difference a little bit here in the mid game.
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to make the bot lane feel a little spikier. Praetor diving back in, going to get charmed up. Thus is the flow of the Ahri Sylas fight. It's a risky trading pattern. Now with Jadai, you're probably... Oh! Is that a smite away? Jarvan just walks up and takes the scuttle. That's got to feel good.
It does indeed. And this Jarvan is probably going to have to look for some early pressure. Currently 0-3. Does not have an item either, and this is an early game champion. So did find a lot of success on that bot dive, but I'm hoping that we can see more early action from Clone here.
Yeah, I mean, look at the pressure, right? Look where this tower is. So many of the plates are already gone. They have been just exercising all their force in the bot lane, and it's been working. But now the follow-up is, what do you do with that? Where do you put that strength? Probably rotate it mid, but will it be in time to be extremely effective? We're going to find out.
Yeah, I mean, this Caitlyn is so good at taking tower plates early. That's kind of part of the reason you pick the champion. Oftentimes it's something like a Lux, just so they can get a lot of lane pressure, they can get a lot of those tower plates. So I expect if this tower does fall, we will see Teddy go towards the mid lane and try to do the same thing there.
Well, we're going to have a dragon skirmish before that. A little bit of a mid-game audition here, if you will. Champions showing up with all the lessons they've learned in the first 12 minutes of the game. Pretty excited to show off. We'll see if we actually get the fight, though. Looks like BDS have that inside track. I'm just looking at the minimap. I don't believe these top laners. I don't think they're going to kill each other. I just think they're going to slap wet noodles around. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
We might see a steal here. E-Clone goes for it, but not going to actually take the objective. Bard ult's going to clip onto Lulu. Bullet still alive. Bullet excited now. The Jinx excited in minigun form. Xiao Dai. Ooh, not sure if they're going to be able to get out of that. They're going to have to force to use a flash to dodge that zap there. Ooh, really nice stun through the wall. And Teddy showing they've got teeth. You can't just walk into this, but you've got JoJo as backup, and there it is. The dive in as Praetor brings the damage as well. A shutdown as Ahri falls into the jaws of that Volibear. Nice. Praetor's not done, though. Gonna take a couple of auto attacks, diving back in, and look at that. I mean, that's just burst damage, folks, right? Praetor did such a good job playing at the edge of his threat level, and I fucking told you, those top laners were fine. We didn't need to care about them. They're practically at the same health until right now. As the fight becomes more serious, Dominus has popped, and the second we pay them any mind, they decide not to kill each other. Either way, what a crazy dragon fight. I feel like a lot happened there.
Absolutely, and I mean, we saw that early gold lead for Monkeys, but I think it's all in the last few minutes just been BDS, BDS, BDS. They've been winning these fights. They got the dragon. They are now fighting on grubs.
This is so consequential. If they're able to get all of these void grubs right now, who's in that teleport? It's Hordicus. Yeah, I mean, that's 4 right there. Volibear's on the way. They're kind of trying to keep people away. What is it? Is 5 the break point? What are the break points for grubs right now?
It's 4 to get any void mites at all. Anything beyond that's just if you want to deal extra damage to towers.
Totally. Teddy's in a lot of trouble right now. I think they just sacrificed himself to get the tower. I understand the impulse, but Bullet's probably pretty happy about that.
Absolutely. That is more gold in the pocket of the Jinx. I will say that turret did give them feats of strength.
Oh.
So now Monkeys has those upgraded boots. That's probably what Teddy was trying to play for there. They knew that early tower was a lot of pressure, and it gives them that sizable advantage.
Much appreciated context. That does make a lot of sense. Rain Gaming helping us out here. 4 is for 1 grubby. 6 gives 2 grubbies. So now 2 grubbies will be on the side of BDS because they got all 6.
That makes a lot of sense based on what I know too. So thank you very much.
Top laners doing top lane things, but we're seeing a lot of movement now. I mean, we're 15 minutes in and we're seeing lane assignments already switching up here as Silas is now going to take the turretless bot lane. Silas 3-0-2, really good performance down in farm, but understandable into the ranged lane. 1 level up. Hold on, do we have an opportunity here as Silas dives in, takes the charm to the face, forces Ahri to run away right there. But we are starting to see Praetor get a little bit more confident and come into the range where they can kill that Ahri.
Yeah, I mean, Praetor is putting up a really great show on the Silas right now. Very much that kind of type of champ that we saw on the last 2 games and fits their playstyle very well. So good choices there for kind of the 4-5 picks for BDS. And I will mention, very smart move from BDS as well, bringing Bullet and Murloc-Mancer, I said it correctly that time.
Nailed it.
Up to the mid lane. To try and mitigate this Caitlyn pressure. So we talked about how Caitlyn really wants to take down these towers. Oh, might have a... No, I think nothing much is going to happen there.
Yeah, that's fair.
But bringing the Jinx and Lulu to defend this mid turret is a really good choice for BDS. Very proactive, very smart.
Yeah. Jadai. A little bit of supportal combat there. Just going to bully Murloc-Mancer out of the jungle right there.
And of course, as soon as I was going on about that mid turret and then trying to defend it, it ends up going down to the Caitlyn.
Yeah.
But such is life.
Yeah, absolutely. But BDS have another objective that they're eyeing. They're going to try and take down this Rift Herald, which will give them some tower taking ability right here. What lane do you think they're going to drop this in, if they choose to drop it pretty quick?
If anything, we've seen them drop it mid lane the last 2 games. So I'd say it's a safe bet, drop it mid. However, as I mentioned in Champ Select, if this Bard sticks around mid, that'll never get any value. He can just ult the turret, it does no damage, Rift Herald's basically useless. So I'll be really looking at the Bard here, see if we can kind of mitigate that advantage that BDS just got.
Jarvan and Bard, speaking of pretty deep right now, could be in an interesting position with a flank right here. See what the comms are like. Yi-Clone has been spotted. Zhao Dai is now on the run. Billy Cheese Pizza lands a very nice charm. Very nice Q as well. Ornhorn being called. That's a good flash. Actually not connecting with anybody just yet. And that is vital that they made it out of there in that fashion because Dragon is up. Second Dragon setting that pace. Rift Herald's going to get dropped as the fight sort of breaks out. Hordicus takes a little bit of damage. Lulu going on a little ride right here. And you called it. Not getting tricked. Not getting tricked. Does a whole circle. It doesn't go any deeper than that. Oh, Hordicus going quite low, but there's the Lulu ult. Keeps him alive, and Yi-Clone's going to dash in. And just look at this Ornn living through all of this right now. Bullet kiting in the backline, surviving the dash from the Dominus. Renekton right there going excited. Let's see. Bullet running forward. Lots of low health targets. Don't know if they have ult or not, but that rocket, one more that connects, and another shutdown there. But as Jinx goes down, Jinx is taken out. Teddy looking quite low. There's the Thunder on the other end, going to take the Caitlyn out of there. And 2 low health members of Monkey are going to scurry on out of there. The Dragon up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, what a wild fight from both sides. I think both of them really got the fight that they wanted to, and that's why it ended up being so close. I thought that Jinx was going to get one more reset on the Ahri and maybe just run over the fight, but Bullet is taken down. But Praetor does kind of pick it up, gets another pick on the backside. So well played and very scrappy from both teams. I love it.
Yeah, speaking of scrappy, we're right back where we were a second ago. Oh, Murloc Mancer taken out by a nice charm from Billy Cheese Pizza. It looks like Monkeys have come back and are going to take this dragon.
Yeah, that is now the second dragon over to them. The gold is basically dead even for both teams, even with the kill advantage over for BDS now. So, very close game and exactly what I'd expect to see in this game 3. Both teams are really playing their hearts out. They want it. You can tell how hard they're trying. And it's a really good game of League of Legends so far.
Yeah, the back and forth is absolutely wild. Everyone's showing up to objectives. They really want this. It's great coordination from the teams. Yeah, as you said, just great play all over the place. And, God, I mean, I was gonna ask what the next big move is, but I think we kind of know, right? Like, all these teams are just showing up to objectives together, and they're hashing it out whenever they do.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we have 4 minutes till the next dragon. I think the next objective here is the Otacon, which is on the bottom side of the map. So I expect to play around there.
Now this is an interesting 1v1 that's not a 1v1 because Volibear is up here. Renekton in a little bit of a pinch. Double dash. Slicing, dicing their way out of there. They are going to go down. Volibear gets that kill. Jarvan's up here. No other support though. I think that's going to cost them top tower.
Likely. We'll see if Jarvan can try to defend it.
Oh yeah, I mean he's coming around. Backside right here, very nice flag and drag. Bard's coming up here as well. Caitlyn in range for the ult too, and that's a good shutdown. But JoJo in the jungle, getting a kill right there, and Hordicus teleporting back up to the top lane as well. A lot of resources going into this top lane fight. They're thinking about the dive. That's a good knockup onto, oh, very nice flag and drag, but the turret gets turned off right here, and that is going to be Bard getting taken down alongside the turret.
Yeah, I mean, a 1v1 turns into a 2v1, turns into a 1v1, and into a 4v4. So both teams kind of playing around the map well, playing around their teammates. And it is BDS who comes out on top. They get the kills, they get the towers, I mean, Praetor has been looking so strong on this Stylus. Amazing pickup, and has been performing incredibly on it.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, a real sign of skill is when you know the matchup well enough that you're patient when you need to be patient. And Praetor was patient all through that first, 10, 12 minutes, just kind of getting the shit kicked out of you patiently with the Ari, taking that range damage because you're melee. And they've sort of found their way closer to the promised land at the very least. There's certainly a threat. They're absolutely making people on the side of monkeys think twice about their positioning. So they're there.
And I think this is the first time this game that we've seen BDS have a gold lead, at least a decisive one. So they have a 2,000 gold lead now off the first 2 towers, and we saw earlier. This Volibear, I kind of just looked down, 8-1 for Gojo. So got a lot of those early kills. Maybe you would have liked that they went to the Jinx, maybe more so than the volley. But either way, huge game for the mid and jungle of BDS here.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, that's this has been a huge JoJo game. Just becoming an absolute terror on the Rift here. And we're going to see what these teams bring in 1 minute to this next dragon. BDS feeling pretty strong. Probably going to show up and trying to stop Monkey from getting to Soul Point.
Just an interesting thing real quick. This Lulu Murloc-Mancer, did I say it right? Yeah, Murloc-Mancer has chosen to run the Solstice Slay add-on for the support item instead of the Dreammaker that gives you more heal and shields. It gives you more like defensive. So interesting choice. This item gives a lot more move speed to go in, so I think it fits their playstyle pretty well. But very different than what we normally see a Lulu run. So.
Listen,
honestly, well done.
Violence woke up this morning and it chose Murloc-Mancer. I mean, that is so to the play style of Murloc-Mancer this series.
Indeed, and honestly, I like it. I never thought about running it. We've seen the Enchanter supports run the Celestial Opposition, so they don't get one shot. I've seen them run the AP Mage one, was it Zazax? But never Solstice Slay. So creative pick there for Murloc-Mancer. I like it.
Absolutely, and look at the strength that BDS has indexed into this dragon. They just brought everybody. They're shutting off even the opportunity. Renekton's going to get a little bit of splitting time here. Probably going to take down one tower. Oh, we might see an angle. They're going to go for the 4v3 as the teleport actually goes off. It's a 4v4. Very nice flash away. They are going to save the tower. And this is going to be the 1v1 Praetor versus Silly C Sitza. And Renekton pretty confident in a 1v1, but Praetor is doing a great job here as the rocket connects, but it's not enough. And now is the time to get away if you can. But the fight is not done as a flag and drag and a charm. Everything goes on to Bullet, but they're going to live for at least a little bit because of Murloc-Mancer, the Ornhorn, forcing another turret shot to be tanked, and a flash away is going to keep Ye-Clone up here. Oh my god, so much happening, but my takeaway from this is actually that mostly it went the way of monkeys.
Yeah, they did get right onto Bullet. They didn't have enough peel. The Jarvan plus the Caitlyn plus the Bard really did a lot of work to kind of shut Bullet down. For the first time in the last maybe like 5-10 minutes of the series, Bullet's been pretty much free hitting on the Jinx, and I think monkeys playing very well to their strengths there. I will say that is actually every flash gone on the side of BDS. No more flashes for them for about 5 minutes. So I imagine this Jinx and this Lulu will have to play a little bit more careful if they don't want to die to Jarvan on repeat.
Can I just say, I loved that play from monkeys, because what they did there is they said, we're up a dragon. We know that you don't want us to get this dragon, so you're going to go to this dragon, and we're going to make you pay for it. And BDS did pay that tax in the form of summoner spells, all those flashes, the teleports, the ultimates, and monkeys even got some kills to boot out of it. And certainly the gold's not even right now. Ooh, Ye-Clone in a little bit of trouble. Very nice flag and drag. And Rain Gaming, I totally agree with you. There was a very sick EQ flash from the Jarvan in that fight as well. But just like listen, folks, that's advanced League of Legends, right? Understanding the more macro opportunities you have to trade an objective for just things that the other team has. Hordicus is in a little bit of trouble. We'll see. He's a thick boy. He's going to be trying to walk his way all the way back downtown, but nope, his friends are showing up. Nice. Comes out of that stun at the exact right moment. Praetor in a bit of a pickle or not. My God, he's got another Ari. Oh, but he's going to go back in. Does he have any more dashes? Can he get away? Can he dodge that? I think not. Xiao Di, just on the run. But still, really good play from Praetor right there. I mean, lived for a lot longer than I thought he was going to.
Yeah, that's like the Silas conundrum. He always has like 1,000 more health than you think he does.
Mm-hmm.
And well played by Praetor. Opts to go into the 1v1 until it wasn't a 1v1 anymore. But does play it insanely well mechanically. Just kind of unlucky that clone was waiting on the other side of that wall.
And just look at the, I mean, monkeys get a pick. They take the Otacon, and a great response from BDS. Every time I find myself about to compliment a team, the other team is responding in a way where I'm like, dang, they're just doing a great play here as well. Let's see, where's this going to go? They will secure it, and they will get picked. If you talk slowly enough, you can't be wrong. Pro tip.
Yeah, Murloc-Mancer just being the kind of sacrificial lamb there for getting the Baron. They knew that they might be able to run them down and chase them down, so he just decides to walk back in, use the ultimate, and kind of be that one that goes down instead of maybe everybody. So, well played there. They did get the Baron. Noticeably, Praetor did not pick up that buff, was not alive when the Baron was killed, so maybe a little less side pressure on the side of BDS. But overall, well played and good trade of objectives.
Yeah, who do you think kind of got the better end of that deal?
Based on how they play, I think BDS. I think they're going to look for a lot of these tier 2 towers with Baron. Since they do like to play a lot of those picks, I expect that Volibear and Silas will kind of go on the same side of the map. They'll look for those plays, they'll take down turrets, and they'll try to maybe turn off the tower and get some kills.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about scaling. At what point do we think the clock will strike midnight here, and we're going to really start to see the strength of scaling on BDS hit?
I think we're already there. I look at this Jinx, I see 3 items. The Silas almost has 3 items. Volibear's got 3.5. I think there's already a lot going on for the side of BDS. Alongside that Baron buff, they're basically online.
Yeah, I'm seeing some of those Ornn items come through as well. I think he just made one for Jinx right there, and they're going off. They're actually pushing really hard down this mid lane as Praetor is diving in onto Teddy, pushing them back and away as Bullet is free hitting onto this inhib. Hordicus fighting a personal crusade against the Jarvan, keeping him off the back line. Xiao Dai is going to land, very nice flash in, get a stun right there. Teddy dodging the Bard ult that was stolen by Silas right here as a fight pops out, and Earnest Bullet trying to kite their way away from Silly C Sitsa, who is going to take him down. Bullet now in the grave. 2-2 right now as the fight continues to pop off, and there's a dunk coming in big from Volley from the top rope. That's a double kill. That's the rest of the team. A triple kill for the Volley, and it looks like very likely BDS has taken this series in the best of 3. It went to game 3, and boy did they do it.
Absolutely incredibly played by both teams. I thought that Monkeys had it there. They had a flank. They all came around. It was like surrounding BDS, but they fought their hearts out and they got it done in this game 3.
Boom goes the dynamite. There it is. Really, really, really well done. Oh, what a series, folks. Well, I'll tell you what. We are going to take a peek at these damage charts, and if BDS wants, we're going to do a very quick interview because it's a little late. I'm a sleepy little boy, but I also want to hear from them. So, BDS, if you're listening to this, please feel free to send one person to community and we will pull them up. And if not, I'm about to ping you in the Discord Let's see if anybody's here. All right. 2. All right. Has been sent out. All right, boss. Which of these 3 games was your favorite?
Definitely that game 3. I think that it was such a decisive, kind of powerful game for both teams. Both teams clearly had a lead. They played their style, and it really was hard fought and well earned by BDS.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm going to interrupt you. Okay, perfect. I wasn't sure if they were, but it looks like they are. Folks, please welcome to the cast Praetor, the mid laner of BDS. Praetor, congrats on the win. This question's a freebie. How are you guys feeling after that series?
Yeah, we're feeling really, really good. The first game was a little bit rough. Like the Baron play was my call, my bad. Kind of through the whole thing.
Fair enough.
I think we were playing pretty well up until that point. And like we came in today with just, want to have fun, have some good mentals, and, worked out because we played our match earlier this week and got obliterated by Omega.
That'll happen sometimes, All right, we're going to shoot one question apiece at you. I'm going to go first. Game 2, you guys come back with a vengeance. You hop on that Ahri, and you are looking something fierce. You clearly know how to operate all the levers and pulleys within the champion. Game 3, it looks like it's picked against you. Is Sylas just like your counter? Do you just know how to dismantle that champion? Is Sylas your ultimate choice to play against Ahri? Or is Sylas your sort of I got a little bit counterpicked, it's my everyman?
I mean, I like the matchup. It's not my only thing that I like in Ahri, though. Plenty of things. It's kind of the thing that we determined that we were going to be picking. Kind of knew that, they were probably going to pick Ahri or Azir or something. So we probably, we planned on it. Not the only counter. I think there are better ones out there than Sylas, but it's something I like to play, yeah.
Love it. Well prepared.
And I guess for my question, I want to hear a little bit about how you worked with JoJo, particularly in this last game. We saw a lot of emphasis on the mid lane and how we were seeing repeated ganks mid. You guys blew the flashes. Were you guys constantly communicating? Were you planning to play around mid, or is that kind of just how it worked out?
Yeah, I mean, we built the team to play through us to help everyone else out. So yeah, that's kind of our goal. I mean, it's really hard to shut either of us down because we have a pretty deep champion pool between the two of us, and all of our champs work well together. So yeah, I mean, there was a reason why I reached out to him in the middle of last split, wanting to make a team for executive this time.
Yeah, I love to hear that, and we definitely saw the variety in champion pool this game. You played 3 different champions, you played them all very well, and it was all kind of the same style. You like to fight, you like to skirmish, you like to find those plays, and I think it worked really well for your team in this game.
Yeah, I don't like everyone playing mages in this league. It's boring. They got to play something that fights.
I love it, Praetor. Well, man, thank you so much for coming on and joining us. We wish you success in the rest of your season, and hopefully we'll be casting some of your playoff games.
Yeah, I hope so. You mind if I say one thing before I go?
Absolutely. Shoot it off.
I just want to call out the rest of executive. Play some games on weekdays. It's fun.
I love it. Hey, listen, the casting team would also love that. It's always fun seeing you guys play and just showing us the heights of the LBLCS.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Have a good rest of your night.
You too, man.
All right. That was Praetor, mid laner for BDS, throwing out the challenge. Maybe playing a weekday, not a weekend. And yeah, we'll see. Boss Kitty, first time casting with us. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything that you'd like to shout out?
I don't think so. I will say I'm excited. Hopefully, I'll get to play in the LBLCS next split with my team. So look out for that if you see us on cast. But mostly, I want to say thank you. It was a much pleasure to cast all 3 games tonight. I'm glad it went to 3 games. It's always a blast, and it was really nice to cast with you.
I could not agree more. You did a fantastic job. We went the distance. And now, folks, stick around if you'd like. We are going to raid Travis Gafford because they're live and it looks like there's a hotline lead going. So we might as well. But until then, and again, there will be more streams later this week. Definitely check out the Thursday one. I believe there's a Wednesday one as well. Have a wonderful rest of your night, guys. Bye-bye.